All right. I got a little something here to read for you guys. Oh, my tea. God dang it! I knew I was supposed to have something ready before I sat down, and my tea is cooling on the counter. And then I gotta prepare. I gotta put some sugar in it. Da, 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 da. It is what it is, right? All right. Since no one is here yet, let's get that tea. All right. Do I need more light in here? I think I need more light in here. All right. So we're gonna give that a few minutes to steep, and it should be good. Uh, oh, I think I'm gonna need a couple of days just to relax and recoup and readjust. Uh, what a week, man! It's been a week. Oh, personally, for myself, it's been a little rough. It really has been a little rough. Uh, Even like the goofy stuff, like blowing my shoulder out for like 3 days in a week. I mean, you don't. Well, it's more like 4 days. It was sort of like it was sore and unusable for like I guess it was like a week. I guess it was sore and unusable for like 3 days. It was a day leading up. It was 3 days of pain, and then it was a day leading down, which I could do it. And now it's almost like, well, not almost like nothing happened, but it's still sort of like pains me just a little bit. But that's fine. I know what caused it. I know how to. I know what caused it. I know how to excavate myself from it. Um, Before I get into it, this is why I'm doing a lot of umming and before I get into it, I'm gonna pick up this tea, which is on the counter. Uh, I have a lot of questions. I got questions about like the YouTube algorithm. It sends me stuff. I'm like, why would you even suggest? What is this on my shirt? That's stained. Why would you even suggest this to me? Right? Ugh, doesn't make any sense. All right. I'm gonna give that another minute. Then we're gonna run in there. We're gonna hit it with some sugar, just a couple or two, and maybe a little lemon juice, and then we're good to gizzo. Uh, I don't know what is going on with me. I don't know what is going on with me. All right. We're just gonna stream. Don't have an agenda like I wanted. I mean, I want to grow the stream. At first it was gonna be like a pod news thing, and then now the more I look around at other people's pods, the more they just do whatever the fuck. They're there every day and they do whatever the fuck, and that might be what I do. Some scripted stuff, but generally most of my days, maybe I'll do one scripted thing a month. But every day I'm just gonna be here streaming and talking to you and gaming and drinking tea, which I'm gonna go get right now. As I turn on this light so it's brighter when I come back. Why is it dark? You know why it's dark? Clouds. All right, we got tea. We got tea, and let's move this here. And Let's move that over there. And we got coffee. Not coffee. We got tea and we got stories. All right. Wow, that took me like, well, 1:15. This 109. It took me 6 minutes to get situated. Virginia Thomas urged White House chief of to pursue. So here's what happened. The Supreme Court justice's wife was in bed with these January 6 people trying to get them to overturn elections and stuff. God, why didn't I put this in the kitchen? Uh, Overturn elections and stuff. So Clarence Thomas's wife, Clarence Thomas's wife is no bueno. Uh, what did I just step on? What the hell is going on here? What is that? All right. I'm a little bit of a mess today. This is why I don't wear shoes in the house because every now and then you get like some weird thing. You're like, what the hell is that? Um, yeah, what's that about? How come his wife? Should I raise this so there's not a lot of headroom? How about that? Maybe I should come a little closer so there's not a ton of headroom. I could just drop this too. Here's the thing. I like to stand up occasionally. I find, and that throws camera angles. Whoop, there you go. That throws camera angles all out of whack. Uh, and you always want your camera angle to be camera angled. Yeah, little jokey pun there. All right, so why is Clarence Thomas's wife trying to overturn the January 6th election? Look, I say it on this pod all the time. The amount of people who are in Washington, D.C., who are elected officials or wives or kids of elected officials are always up to bullshit, right? And some of them get up to such bullshit that they wander into traitorous territory. This is what I think happened to Hunter Biden. Happy to take money from like foreigners, right? And like I said yesterday on the pod, now that we're bombing the Ukraine, nobody's going to know what transpired there because they're just easily going to be able to say, "Oh, no, we have a free press. We just sell their press, whatever." Yeah, free press. Oh no, that building was bombed and burned up during the war with the Russians. Oh, we really want to help you up. You know, the cards that they used to have in the 1930s to keep information on, the data cards that you feed into your. Yeah, there's no copies, no digital anything, really? Okay, all right. It's not like the 1970s when they said that fire took place with George Bush, right? This is the modern era. This is 2020. Like he did this shit like 10 years ago. You're gonna tell me there's other than the paperwork, there's no data trail. So the idea that they're gonna bomb all over and then they're gonna go, oh man, we don't have any idea what the freaking who happened. And we would like to help you with this Burisma thing, with this Hunter Biden thing, but oh well, it's gonna be the same thing. As George W. Bush, we can't find his records. There was a fire. Oh well, right? It's a way to permanently kill the argument. Um, yeah, and then meanwhile, look, the idea that the Supreme Court is an honest body is a fucking joke. They've been getting this shit wrong for 100 years for black people. So now all of a sudden, just because they stacked it with a lot of racist knuckleheads, don't act like the place was always righteous and only got it wrong a couple of times. Whenever it was really important to get it right, they sided with racism and money. And all through the 60s and 70s they've been doing it, and then it got to a hot hand somewhere around, I want to say 1989 to about 1992, and it's been slowly bubbling over ever since then. And then you turned the notch up on the whole thing with Occupy Wall Street, which was about 15 years ago, right? But since then, everybody has been protesting in this country, America. I think all around the world, but especially in this country, America, constantly, and it's just beginning to stop. People are just beginning to sort of stop coming out to protest in any real numbers because they've given up. And other people are coming out to bring guns to protest, right? So the idea of protesting, you'd allow them to kill it off. And now they don't like you because you are like they think you're rigged. The idea that a company is a person and a person who can spend as much money as it wants, and no human being can do this. You as a guy, as a millionaire, lady, man, billionaire, trillionaire, whatever, give You can only give a certain amount of money to a political person or party. But if you're quote unquote a person as a company, you can give unlimited funds, right? So it's one thing to have a nice little old lady who's rich who likes to write you a $50,000 check here and a $10,000 check there and just keep going to the well giving you money. That's fine. All that is under. She can't give you XYZ in a amount of money in the during the course of like an election cycle. So that might be $300,000, right? But she can either give you to you all at once and give you no more, or she can feed you this 50,000 here, 80,000 there, 20,000 here, 10,000 there. But once you hit whatever that is, 300,000, you can't take any more from that living soul rich person. But a company, which is a person, all of a sudden, can if it's a person, how come we can do this? It's like a company can poison you, but can poison the water well, but you can't. You're asked to go to jail. Company won't even have to admit guilt if they pay a fine. So all these things are how people lost faith in the freaking in the Supreme Court. Black people a long time ago, and we told you that the place was unfair, and you said, "Nah, the place is fine because it worked for you." I'm not you know, quote unquote. Um, Not you personally, right? But like, um, and you said the person was fine, and we was like, no, place got issues, and people think I can only fix it for me, and everyone else will be fine. America is under assault um, from outside forces, and America is under assault from inside forces. So God only knows what's going to happen. Uh, all right, so let's look up some of these. I want to read you this Atlantic story. Helping to overturn the election. I mean, what the fuck? 10-year-old New York City boy collapses during gym class, dies. Yeah, that happens occasionally. I mean, it hits the paper because it's a rarity and it's an odd thing. But I want to read this story because I bet you there's a oh, you are so lucky. This could have been your kid. When look, every now and then people are born with weird anomalies, right? So you may have a weak blood vessel running in your head, never cause you a problem, and then one day shit wears out, right? Like your rotator cuff will wear out, your blood shoulder out, your things, right? It depends on your genetics. Um, and sometimes you'll be as healthy as a horse, and that little thing will rip in your head, and you're like, oh, I got this crazy headache. Oh, I'm gonna go lay down and take an aspirin, and it's a brain bleed, and then you have a aneurysm because it's pushing against the inside of your brain wall, and all of a sudden, it's lights out for you. The cosmos has given the human animal a myriad of ways to be taken off this place, and that myriad of ways doesn't necessarily have to be like uh, goofy, crazy, dangerous stuff or goofy, crazy, you know, accident. I'm talking about your body. No one affecting you at any way. There's a whole bunch of ways to go really quickly, like a brain aneurysm. I'll tell you about my friend. About to say Brian. I tell you about. I shouldn't mention his name. I tell you about. I had a friend who took his wife out for her birthday dinner one January, and said his last words were, I think, was, "Boy, I'm hot." It was January. January in New York City. It was 20 degrees outside because his wife and my birthday were about 4 days apart. Uh, and she called us, not she, a friend of mine called us with the news, and when asked what the hell happened, because we were all 29, 30, I want to say, right? He was a super young dude. Just she said they were walking down the street going to this sushi place for her birthday, and it was winter. He was all bundled up like everybody else, right? And he took off his hat, as I remember the story going. He took off his hat and opened his winter jacket. It's 20 degrees outside, and he said, "I'm hot." And then he fell down, and that was the last thing he said. And the doctor said, from what they gathered, by the time he fell, they said he fell. He fell to his knees, and then he fell on his face. He fell on his chest. And they said by the time he fell to his knees, he was dead because something happened in his head. There's no saving it. It's like I think you kind of know something's wrong. You probably got 10 seconds. I mean, I don't think it's if I live alone. I think if I felt weird and I was like, oh, I better call somebody, and I picked up the phone and dialed 9-1, I might get that out. That's how fast these things happen, right? Other times, like, what's the famous singer? Uh, Gloria. I think I got your number. Who sang that? Not Pat Benatar. Earlier, so you've been living on. I'm gonna have to look this up. Gloria. Who sang that? Laura Brand. Not Laura Branigan. Uh, Good Lord, what was her name? Who sang Gloria? It's gonna come to me. Gloria, I think I got your number. I know the song. It's Laura Branigan. Gloria by Here we go. Laura Branigan. It was Laura Branigan. All right. So Laura Branigan famously died um, in 2004, and I remember thinking they said she was complaining of a headache for like 4 days, and I used to suffer from migraines, and I was like, I get that, but man, like who doesn't have a headache complains of a headache for 4 days? Um, Death. Brannigan died in her sleep at her lodge in East Quahog, New York, on August 26, 2004, at the age of 52. The cause was attributed to a previously undiagnosed ventricle brain aneurysm. Good Lord, look at that giant nodule. Intracranial aneurysm, also known as the brain aneurysm, is a cerebrovascular disorder in which weakness in the wall of the cerebrum artery or vein causes a localized dilution or ballooning of the blood vessel. And you can get those in your brain, right? You can get one in your heart. You know what it's like? It's like having a blown tire. You see like the air pop out of a tire. You can get one of those in your heart, right? You can get it in your brain. You can be hit with a baseball and it stutters your heart. Your heart is an electrical thing. You can't catch its electrical signal back. You'd have to cut off all the electronics in your system and then hit you with a new volt of energy, right? And then hope that new volt will start your heart and also send the volts sort of cascading through your system to all the electrical things to sort of like kick those over too, right? And what you're trying to do, what you have now here is pop, 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 pop all over the place. When what you need as a being is just kind of like an eel, all of the electronics to fire all at once. So it's gotta be like your heartbeat, boom, 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 right? So your electronics go bzz, bzz, right? Bzz. Think of yourself as that because you're like, and so when you're going bzz, bzz, and then you hit more volume or more electricity or whatever, uh, blows you out like blowing a fuse, puts your lights completely out, and someone has to reset you with a low voltage modest watt of electricity. While all that's going on, your lungs start working. So now they got to keep air in your lungs by pumping and breathing over your face, right? All the while going clear, bzz, and then maybe the whole bzz will get your heart going, which gets everything sort of moving. Then your breath catches up, and your whole system is yeah, I find it amazing. Should we put this up on screen? Because it is quite a picture. All right, so this is the image I was. Oh, oh, what's the image? Oh, I must have rolled over it. Here is it. Death, ventricle brain aneurysm. This is the image I was talking about. Oh, look at this thing. This thing is a beast. This is on your cerebellum, and it looks to be on the inside of the brain. So, do we know what the brain looks like? Yeah, see that tiny little nodule within the deep. See, you don't know where that is. That is in the deep recesses of someone's creamy goodness of someone's brain pan. It's deep in there, right? So sad. What is this? What is this? What are these? That's amazing. All right, we're gonna have to go back and just to this story. Close this. A selection of Mayfield and Drake aneurysm clips ready for implantation. Aneurysm clips. I guess you can, if you discover it, you can go in and clip the giant bubble and cut off the giant. Because what happens is that little thing is holding a lot of blood, right? Then when it is all the blood rushes out, like all the air in the balloon, and then it's all in your brain, and you're bleeding in your brain. That's not good. So I guess what they do is they clip it off, they drain that thing, and then you're good to go about your business like nothing else was wrong. So yeah, Laura Branigan died of a brain aneurysm. The cause was attributed to a previously undiagnosed ventricular brain aneurysm. It was reported that she had been experiencing persistent headaches for several weeks before her death, but had not sought medical attention for them. At the time of her death, it was widely and erroneously reported that she was 47 years old, resulting from a technical error the Associated Press published after contacting Brannigan's management company. Brannigan was cremated and her ashes were scattered over Long Island. On April 18, 2009, Jane debuted a single titled Gloria that is not a cover but a tribute to Brannigan. Early life career beginning mainstream success, later careers and hiatus, returning to music. How many fucking hits did she have? I know Gloria, right? Brannigan 2, Self Control, Hold Me, Touch, Laura Brannigan, Over My Heart. I guess she was bad with names. She was only around for 11 years. 81 to 93, 12 years. What songs do I know of hers? Yeah, I remember her being all on my TV show. She got awards and nominations. Gloria, Imagine, albums and Self Control. That luck. I don't know. Yeah, I just know one song, but that's the way America works. All right. Let's close this. I wanted to read something. Oh, where's my? Oop. Let's put this over here. All right. Um, where is this? This is what I wanted to look for. All right, we're gonna put this here. Ooh, put that there. Oh, that's not good. Put that here. All right, this is what we're gonna read. Let's get big with our reading as our eyes are not as young as they used to be. Everybody's looking like this is the movies. Ugh. Oh, good Lord. We have given the world an aesthetic as to what a one of these guys should look like, right? All right, let's go. Elliot Ackerman is the author, most recently of the novel Red Dress in Black and White, and co-author of the novel 2034. He's a former Marine and intelligence officer. Oh, okay. Who served 5 tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan. Ooh. All right. Uh, I won't be criticizing this guy too much. 5 tours is like overachieving. So when I run into guys like this who I feel uncomfortable about criticizing, I criticize not them or their history or anything, what they said and how it applies, right? If I think you're an idiot and a liar, I criticize you and the stupid shit you're saying. I do that to Joe Biden, right? But you've never heard me say anything square or upside down or goofy, even as I disagree with President Carter. I think President Carter is a great man. And I think people get it wrong. And even when he gets it wrong, I tell you why I think what he said is wrong. Because he's a great man. And who the fuck am I to fucking be an internet troll to the great James Carter, West Point graduate? I'm not West Point. Yeah, West Point. Do you go to West Point or the Naval Academy? I think it was the Naval Academy. See, now I need to know this because it's in my head. I think he went married his high school sweetheart. I mean, it gets no better than that. Had to leave to come home to take care of his father after his father, you know, was infirmed and had to run the family business. Took care of the family business and his wild ass brother while looking out for the people of Georgia, right? So much so to be elected congressman, right? And then president. He's a this guy fits that. All right, James. No, well, let's just go Jimmy Carter, if I may call you Jimmy, Mr. President. Uh, Jimmy Carter. Yeah, an amazing success story. What a great man. All right, he was very few congressmen become president, and he was a congressman who became president. And here's the thing: they established his district. He was the first congressman to hold it. Oh, wow. Jones Earl Carter Jr. October 1st, 1924. The great man is 97 years old. God bless you, man. Yeah, Jimmy Carter. United States Navy. 46 to 53 active, 53 to 61 reserves. Lieutenant. He's a great man. Yeah, Jimmy Carter's a great, great man. Let's get at it. Let's whoop, let's drop that down a little bit. Let's do this. Let's turn that up on a skosh. I think my tea should be warm. Oh, not warm. Cooler. You know, I fully expected to drop some of this drinking weight since I stopped drinking. Hasn't been the case. I don't want to be obsessed with my weight like I'm a teenage girl or anything. But I've got weight that's on me that shouldn't be on me, and it's beginning to concern me. Ugh, I'm about to have to go back to my old Brooklyn ways of being snotty about clothing and being fit and being healthy. I think I've gotten country enough, right? Let all my New York energy go, be late, take it easy. Hey, happy Friday Eve. How are you, doctor? You look good. I see you dancing in the chat with your red dress on. So, uh, that's what I meant by saying you look good. So, yeah, Jimmy Carter is a great, great man. He is a great man. And like I said, I would call in issue things that he may say, but I would never have a problem with him because he's a great man. And to look at this, the author of this dress, Elliot Ackerman, the author of Red Dress and Black and White, and has a new novel coming out titled 2034, former Marine intelligence officer, all right, and 5 tours of duty in Iraq. Nothing says CIA like that guy. Uh, so we're gonna see what he says, and we're gonna take it apart. But we're not gonna even fuck with the kind of man who's got a resume like that in 3 fucking lines, right? I'm associating him in the same vein I associate people that I consider great men. I take on what they said and why I disagree with it or why I agree with it, and I leave them alone because they're great fucking men. However, if I don't think you're great, I'm gonna fucking eat your lunch, and I'm gonna eat your lunch on fucking camera, Joe Biden, because you suck. Um, a few nights ago in Lviv, Lviv. How do you pronounce that? Hold on, hold on. Oh my God, how do you pronounce this? Lviv. Pronunciation. Lviv, Lev, is hold it. I don't think I've ever said this before, but is the V silent? Oh my God! See, the West, they say English is hard to learn, but we got fucking rules in this shit. Like I had to tell my friend, um, a comedian said the same thing too. I had to tell my friend about Sade. I'm like, how you spelling that? What do you think you are? It's like you are at least short 4 letters. You better go home and fix your shit before you come back to America with spelling like that. By then, all these names are just all off the Sade. It's Sadie. No, it's Sade. I'm sorry. What? If it's anything, it's sad. Sade. Sade. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, what am I? Let's
The
go.
view. The view is how you. We are looking at how to pronounce the name of the city located in interesting but often confusing names of 70 kilometers.
God damn it, man. Just fucking pronounce it. Jesus Christ. 44 minutes of you talking, idiot. I just need a pronunciation, guys. 43. Yeah, okay. Louvre. Did you say Louvre? We're going with that. We're going to call it Louvre, live. We're going to call it live like a girl. We're going to call it live because they should live and let live. How about that? Yeah, Joe Biden is absolutely a giant piece of poo. Ugh. And like I said, I was telling somebody who was all for him when he was running, and I was like, he sucks, right? And I think everybody was like, but the other guy's worse, which is fine, you know. But if that's how you vote, that's fine. If I don't vote that way, don't be mad at me because I don't see the playing field as you see the playing field. So now a year and change later, who was right? This guy. And am I getting calls from my political friends going, well, you may have been right about this? No. Now the narrative is sort of suck it up and go with it. Um, Suck it up and go with it. I don't know. His son is just a mess and should be dealt with by the federal authorities. And I don't think that's going to happen. And I think while he was signing, just like the Clintons, tough on crime bills, sending other people's kids to 30-year bids for drugs and all this stuff, his kid was a cocaine drug addict, hot mess, running around with prostitutes and was protected. How do you allow this guy to destroy your family, but you adore and endorse him? I don't understand that. I don't understand it. A few nights ago and leave. A few nights ago and leave after an early dinner restaurant shut at about 8 p.m. At about I threw that about in there. Restaurant shut at 8 p.m. before because of curfew. Thank you, William. I totally and truly appreciate it. Whoo, I'm gonna buy me a yacht. Um, Please like and subscribe and donate. I I totally appreciate the donations. It makes me feel uh, like a professional broadcaster for tips. I get my poll out, then I can work the poll while I tell you what the world is what's going on in the world. Be like, ooh, today Joe Biden, ooh, 20 cent. There you go. Wow. All right, I may have to open up another window because it was 50 degrees. Now all of a sudden it's hot. It was hot all week. It was 78 degrees. Then all of a sudden it's cold. What's the temperature outside?
It's currently 70 degrees.
It's 70 degrees. Okay, good. It went up. It was 50 degrees like an hour ago. So it was warm, 60, it went down, and then it got warmer than it was early in the day. Man, we have fucked up our terrarium. I don't know how. Look, I think we're gonna get to a point where there's gonna be like 1,000 people on the planet again, and then we're gonna have to do this whole 10,000 year run up. This and people will be rediscovering. Oh, look at the people who lived here. Oh wow, they had these weird brown things that we don't know what they do because the chips will be dead. You won't be able to use them. Look, listen. Papyrus, paper, and stone is better technology than this. This technology is outdated in about 5 years. So I've been telling this to people all the time. Once there's a giant electromagnetic something, or your phone don't charge, or the power plant, which can happen, power plants don't work, all this is dead. I have an actual photo album that I put together. I think I'm the last generation of that. So at least I'll be able to like look at some pictures. We've got some printed out, I guess, but I must have 1,000 pictures on this if I have one. Don't even get me started. All right, let's get into the story. A few nights ago in live. after an early dinner restaurant at after an early dinner quotation marks restaurant shuts at 8 p.m. before curfew. So curfew is I'm guessing at 8:30 or 9, right? So you shut at 8, you clean up what you can, and then you get home by 9 for the bombing. Oh man, how are you going to dinner like there's nothing wrong? You're in a war zone, and people are like trying to maintain normalcy. It's like the video I showed you last week, where the people were standing outside and there was a boom, and the people were running into the door, and it landed behind them, and then it took the lady's leg clean off. She was about that far away from making it inside, and another guy who she ran past was just kind of like, "What the frick are we?" And then you just see his body just go whoosh, like an invisible force just went woo 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 woo, and he just kind of like. And then the next picture is a still of somebody running over taking a picture of the scene. And she's like this, and someone's holding her hand and have sort of like lean her up because she's laying down outside the door, and her pants leg goes straight, and then right here it gets all jagged and shaggy. Then there's blood, and then the pants is ripped, and then her leg is about 10 feet from her, with the bottom of the pant leg on it, and blood and blood. And I'm just kind of like, what is going on over there? What is going on over there? My God. I mean, people are just walking like, I got to go to the store. I got to get baby milk. I can't leave because I got a 3-year-old and I got my elderly parents, right? And I'm a divorcee, so now it's just me. Well, who am I gonna leave with, right? Oh, it's so bad. It's so fucked up. It's so. Uh, all right, let's get into it. So fucked up. We're not gonna stop until we get halfway through this. A few nights ago in Live, after an early dinner, restaurant shut at 8 p.m. because of curfew in brackets. I stepped into the elevator of my hotel. I was chatting with a colleague in when a man in early middle age when a man in early middle age okay when a man in early middle age dressed and equipped like a backpacker thrust his hand into the closing door. You got the American? He asked. I told him we were, and as he reached for the elevator button, I couldn't help but notice his dirty hands and half moons, I get you, of filth between each fingernail. I also noticed his fleece. It had an eagle, a globe, and an anchor embossed on the left breast. You a Marine? I asked. He said, or had been, once a Marine, always a Marine. He said he was or had been. Once a Marine, always a Marine. And I told him that I'd served in the Marines too. Okay, so you're both Marines. I told him that I'd served in the Marines too. He introduced himself. He asked why asked that I not use his name. So let's just call him Jed. And we did a quick swap of bona fides, exchanged the names of units in which we both served as infantrymen a decade ago. Jed asked if I knew where he could get a cup of coffee or at least a cup of tea. He had, after a 10-hour journey, only just arrived from Kiev. He was tired and cold, and everything was closed. So, to make sure that, oh, I'm a Marine too. Oh, really? What's your unit? And I'm like, you ain't no more, you know. So you go, oh, I joined here, and I'm from this, and this is my unit, and we know there. Oh, I was of that. So you know, like all this stuff that I would not be able to even fake, right? Because it's not my world. Um, so you just, I mean, yeah, we make a lot of, come on, seriously, we make a lot of Marines, we make a lot of we make a lot of war people. You're gonna meet someone walking around. He was tired and cold, and everything was closed. A little cajoling persuaded the hotel restaurant to boil Jed a pot of water and hand him a few bags of tea. So they're like, look, man, we're leaving. They're like, yo, but he came over here to fucking make sure the Russians don't kill your family. He can't get tea? Yeah, all right, we'll boil some water. Here's some tea bags. That's the least you can do for that motherfucker, right? Um, Boil a pot of water and hand him a few tea bags. When I wished him a good night, he asked if I wanted some tea too. The way he asked, like a kid pleading for a last story before bed, persuaded me to stay a little while longer. He wanted someone to talk to. Yeah, he didn't know anybody. Few people spoke English. He just got there. He's probably hungry, and you were the first friendly person. Plus, you're a Marine, right? Hey, maybe you want a tea? Hang out with me for at least another 10 minutes. Maybe that 10 minutes will turn to an hour because I don't know what the fuck is going on here. You're like, yeah, man, I got you. Been there. Um, As Jed sat across from me in the empty restaurant with his shoulders hunched forward over the table and his palms cupped around the tea. So he's sitting there like this. Like, I mean, he's writing, yeah, he's writing his screenplay right there. So he's hunched over. Tea, who's holding their tea cupped in his hand? He's holding the cup cupped in his hands, like, you know, versus sitting over there like, so where you from? You know what I mean? Or at least like this. But no, it's a little more dramatic when you're in this pensive. I mean, it's probably even one of those round bottom cups with the little saucer, the Mary Poppins cups. Um, Man, this it sounds like he's massaging this story. As Jed sat across from me in the empty restaurant with his hands hunched forward over the table, his palms cupped around the tea, he explained that since arriving in the Ukraine at the end of February, good lord, when is this story written? He arrived at the end of February. So that, and this is the 24th. So he's been there. No, what is it? Yeah. So he's been there about 3 weeks. March 24th. This story is today. As Jed sat across from me in the empty restaurant with his shoulders hunched forward over the table with his palms cupped around the tea, excuse me, he explained that since arriving in the Ukraine at the end of February, he had been fighting as a volunteer along with a dozen other foreigners outside of Kiev. Wait, he's been fighting as a volunteer with 12 other Americans? Just 12 other volunteers, foreign volunteers. Just 12 of you. I thought they were going to have them spread out in other people's ranks, or if there were going to be a one foreign like foreign legion rank, there'd be a bunch of you. There's 12 of you. When they catch you, the amount of just sick, goofy fuckery they're gonna do to you for coming all the way over here to murder. You know what? If I was at war, if America goes to war, right, and we go to war with the name somebody, the Chinese, right, and you find like all these Saudis who hate Americans, and you're like, oh, you know what I mean? It's like what? um, yeah. Why wouldn't? Well, it's bad enough, but you make it worse. It's like mercenaries. Like during the American Revolution against Britain, um, the Hessians, who were Germans, the Germans came over. A lot of them fought us, right? Fought the American colonists, and then stayed. Nothing for me to go back to Germany for. Might as well stay here. What? And this is America. This is how America has always gotten down, right? Even after the people who did the right to sing, I'm talking about black people in particular, got shafted, but the people who were killing your soldiers got to stay. Man, whew, a lot of this just does not make any sense to me. So as Jed sat across from me in the empty restaurant with his shoulders hunched forward, I read this like 4 times. Palms cupped around the tea. He explained that since arriving in Ukraine at the end of February, he had been fighting a volunteer. He had been fighting as a volunteer along with dozens of, eight, not dozens, along with a dozen other foreigners, right? Versus dozens of other foreigners, right? Just 12 of them. Just 12. That is not good, brother. The past 3 weeks had the past 3 weeks had marked him. When I asked him how he was holding up, he said the combat had been more intense than anything he'd witnessed in Afghanistan. He seemed conflicted that if he wanted to. He seemed conflicted as if he wanted to talk about this experience, but not in the terms that could turn emotional. Perhaps to guard against this, he began to discuss the technical aspect of what he'd seen. Huh, that is quite a sentence. That sentence implies he's regretting being there, right? Because it's one thing to fight with the American Marine Corps. Everybody's trained like you, super fit, super supplied, right? Super disciplined. Now you're just part of a haphazard bunch of wingnuts, right? You may be a Marine, but somebody else may be a merchant seaman. Somebody else may be somebody else may be a retired policeman. Somebody else may never have had anything at all. And you're assuming he's American. He's fighting with these 12 guys. I assume that they're all American. They might not even be American. He might be the only English speaker in that 12-man unit. No radios, no backup. Remember, American military had air cover that they could call in, like calling in pizza. They're in a war zone with no support. It's like calling in pizza. You're not getting pizza there either. Wow, this is amazing. So, this sentence implies, man, what the fuck did I do by coming over here? Uh, the past 3 weeks had marked him. When I asked him how he was holding up, he said the combat had been more intense than anything he had witnessed in Afghanistan. He seemed conflicted. Asked if he wanted to talk about his experience, but not in terms that could turn emotional. Like, don't cry, don't be afraid. You know that whole warrior military shit. Could don't let it turn emotional. Perhaps to guard against this, he began to discuss the technical aspect of what he'd seen, explaining in granular detail. Wow, granular detail how outmanned, outgunned the Ukrainian military had fought to the Russian to outmanned and outgunned how explaining in granular detail how outmanned, outgunned Ukrainian military had fought the Russians to a standstill. Oh, you're gonna tell us how they did that? Because that'd be interesting. First, Jay wanted to discuss anti-armor weapons, particularly the American-made Javelin and the British-made In-Law. The past month of fighting had demonstrated the balance of lethality and shifted away from armor and toward anti-armor weapons. Right, so they shifted away from cats rolling in with their tanks and their APC carriers full of soldiers. Right, uh, because those things can stand up against me firing my pistol at you or throwing a rock at you or a Molotov cocktail. Fuck that. But they can't stand up against a javelin, which is essentially an arrow with an explosive on it, uh, with a rocket engine or a rocket with an explosion on it, or however you want to look at it. But whatever it is, you know, now you can't use your armor. You can't roll your tanks down the street. Right? It's like you know how if air superiority is a thing until it's not, and by that I mean you can fly all over the sky. No one can shoot you. No one can touch you. You can drop bombs on people. We run the skies until someone gets a javelin or an in-law or surface to air rockets or any of these other things. And if they're good with them, you can't put a plane up there because you know it's going to get shot down. You know you're going to lose a pilot. So why do it, right? So that's a sign of acquiescence, right? Well, apparently we cannot put helicopters or plane. Do I have to show you that helicopter that took that either a javelin or an in-law to the freaking cockpit? Right? It had to be 60 feet off the ground, maybe 100. Uh, and the dude who tagged them with the rocket launcher must have been hiding what looks to be about, I want to say, 1,000 feet, which is like as the length of a city block, really. If you've ever been to Manhattan, that's about, I would say that's about 1,000 feet from one end of the corner to the other end of the corner. And they're a square grid. You know, if it was a bullet and it was shot at you, it would have to be, now a bullet. How about if it was a baseball and you were standing in the batter's box and someone threw a baseball and you knew it was going to hit you? That's how. That's the amount of reaction time that pilot had. Are we even going to look this up again? Because oh my god, uh, this video must have. I wonder how many hits it has. It must have 100 hits. If 100 million hits if it has anything. Let's look up the video. Here we go. Where's the original one? I think this is the original one. This is the one I saw 3 weeks ago. I'm just curious because when I saw it, it had about 3,000 views, 2 million views 3 weeks ago. Yeah, look at this. Let's do this one more time, right? They're not that high off the ground, first of all. and you can see this thing tracking him. And so you can see his shadow on the ground. I mean, the helicopter shadow on the ground. It's a clear fucking day. Everybody can see you, and you can see everybody. It's a moment in time, frozen. Bam. When did you see it? Whoever shot it from right over here. And that's what I mean by a city block. I mean, the idea of it is crazy. The idea of it is crazy. Look at this. Look at this. There's no way you don't see that. There's no way you don't see it. All right. Um. Yeah. I mean, let's. Ugh, just ridiculous. Um. I don't want to take a hit for, but man, I mean, that is just an amazing. That footage is amazing. Ukraine claims footage shows shooting down Russian military helicopter. September 5th, March 22nd. Yeah. Meanwhile, excuse me. Excuse me. Meanwhile, Russia is just dropping bombs on hospital complexes and housing developments. I don't see. And here's the thing: Bashar al-Assad did the same shit in Syria. The Syria war is still going on. The West have sort of grown tired of it and wandered away from that conflict. Uh, Even as we're not covering it, we're still feeding them, munitions so they can fight each other. Uh, he was killing his own people. He's still in power there, right? Mubarak did. He had to resign. Nobody removed him. Um, Vladimir Putin will sit there killing his own people. Uh, what's the North Korean guy? He kills his own people. So him drop not his own people. Well, actually, this might be different because these, even though Bashar al-Assad was killing people, they were his own people. These are not Putin's people. This is another country, so this may be different, and they may throw him out of the G20. So back Russia into a corner. Let's see what happens. I'm of the mindset that Russia can't do shit to me, right? And when I say that, I mean like America. Russia can't fuck with America. America has way more uh, military, way more. I don't want to say way more discipline, but way more toys. Um, and I think Russia is a problem for a lot of nations, not for America, not for America. I don't. I think Russia is a. I think Britain, little ass Britain, is a problem for Russia if Russia tried to get loose with Britain, right? Um, yeah, man, this whole thing is crazy. So Russia has moved away from helicopters because, man, that video we just showed you, and they're not putting a lot of guys on the ground. I don't know what's going on with this thing. I think they're reevaluating. Even the most, I think they thought they were going to walk in. It was going to be a cakewalk. And remember what I said when this whole thing happened? I said Vladimir Putin is a Cold War spy. He's trying to get the glory of the Soviet, but those days are over. Nobody wants to be that. All those people are dead. All the kids of the modern Europe grew up with cell phones and traveled to America. They know what communism, Russian. They had grandparents who some disappeared, told them how shitty the whole thing was. Right? They don't want to be part of that. He's like, I'll put this thing. Like he's he's romanticizing a thing, and nobody wants that thing. So now he's got to force it on the world, and nobody wants it. Um, yeah, I think he's fucked. I think he doesn't know how to extract himself from this. Even the most advanced armor systems, such as a Russian T-90 series main battle tank, has proved vulnerable. Vulnerable. Their charred husk litter Ukrainian roadways. When I mentioned to Jed that I fought in Fallujah in 2004, he said that the tactics the Marine Corps used to take that city would never work today in the Ukraine. In Fallujah, our infantry worked in close coordination with our premier tank, the M1A1 Abrams. Remember, I said that too when they dropped that tank driving by itself down the road. I'm like, that tank is a target of opportunity. It is, and I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not a military guy. It is alone. I play video games. This is why I know these terminology. It is alone by itself. It is an enemy of yours traveling across your landscape. You are to decimate that. That way, those guys don't come back and fight the next battle, which may kill you or your kids or your whatever. You kill them. Take them hostage. Great, fine. That's good too. But generally, you're not taking a whole army's hostage. You're wiping these fuckers out. Why are you even here? Um, and yeah, you'd have like 6 or 7 tanks. You have a couple of platoons, and they wouldn't just be a battle line walking right. They'd all have sort of different ways to get to the same place. So maybe 2 blocks apart as each column moves. But when the shit kicks off, everybody spreads out, and then before you know it, you got a line, right? So very few people can get behind you unless there's a bunch of them. You may have snipers and this. Yeah, man, these guys are walking around these tanks. No infantry to keep an eye out. There's a guy in that window. There's a none of that. They were just by themselves. Then they were running out of gas. I was listening to a tape earlier. Uh, they're on like CB channels. They're not even on their own secured shit anymore. One guy was like screaming for air cover, air cover, air cover. And an hour went by and he called back and was like, "You fucking forgot. You didn't send me air cover." Russian guy. "You didn't send me air cover. Bah, 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 bah." And some people think that they're abandoning them as they reassess. The people in the field are lost in the field. Consider them a loss. Woo wee, man. That can't be good for your military. If you know that you goes out and they left your bud, your homie Bob, Jim, Bill, Tim, Dirk, Larry, Gary, whoever it was, out there and reassess and just left all those. I mean, when you go out there, God forbid it goes bad, don't you think they could be leaving me? Maybe we won't fight as hard as we should. Maybe we'll just retreat now versus retreat in 3 days, right? All these kind of things. Um, yeah, it's called esprit de corps. Your military should feel good about being in your military, right? They shouldn't feel like they're all conscripts. What's your esprit de corps? Do you feel good going? Yeah, I'm a fucking marine. Woo, balling out of control. Or yeah, I'm a army army man. Yeah, I'm a soldier, an army, I'm a sailor. Right? Shouldn't you feel good about versus? Oh, what do you do? I'm in the middle. I know we invaded the country. I know. Right? That's not really a good esprit de corps. You're sort of apologizing and hedging your bets about mentioning, right, that you're in the military. So if your whole army is that, well, I'm kind of yeah, and then you send them out to fight, they better get that esprit de corps from fighting. Wow, look at our military. Our military is badass and baller. We took down the Martians or the whatever. Versus going out there going, oh, I didn't want to be here in the first place. Why are we even invading the Ukraine? Yeah. All right. Outrageous. All right. Let's finish the whole thing because I said I wouldn't interrupt and I've interrupted. All right. If you're nice, going to live after an early dinner, he introduced himself. Pa, 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 pa. He sat across from. Pa, 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 pa. This is where we were. First, just want to discuss anti-armor T-90 tanks. We spoke about that. When I mentioned to Jed that I fought in Fallujah, he said that the tactics. Yeah, we mentioned this. They patrolled with tanks, right? They were an extra pair of eyes, so people looking to hit these tanks with like javelins, and they were extra manpower for the guys walking around, right? They could stand behind it. On several occasions, I watched our tanks take direct hits from rocket-propelled grenades, typically older generation RPG-7s, without so much as a stutter in their forward progress. Wow. Today, and that's what happened, right? They saw these tanks, these RPGs bouncing off these American tanks, and they were like, "We need to make a stronger fucking right." Because you see, what the Americans got is the new standard, and no one's got it, but that's the new standard. So if the Americans come through for you, you need at least that to stop the tanks, because you're not going to get drones and UAVs and all this other shit. So you work on the simple shit, right? Maybe we can make a better bulletproof helmet, a bulletproof vest, right? Maybe we can make a better rocket launcher, but we're not gonna be able to make a fucking satellite system like the Americans have, or or all this other shit. So it makes sense that after that war, they all these people look to upgrade their RPGs, um, because these RPGs that they were shooting at the M1A2 in Fallujah were the same ones they were shooting at the Russians. The Mujahideen was shooting at the Russians in the 80s, and those would drop Russian helicopters and tanks like this. All these years later, they're bouncing off of like American tanks, and people are like, "What the fuck are we?" Right? Mm. That is some good tea. All right. Typically older generation RPG 7, but not so much as a study in their forward progress. Today, a Ukrainian defending Kiev or any other city armed with a javelin or an in-law would destroy a similarly capable tank. So they're saying these new javelins will wipe out M1A2s, which is just what I said. Someone was like, well, we can't do a lot about a lot they got, but we can do something about those tanks, right? And what we're going to do? Well, we're firing this much explosive at them in a rocket that wide, right, and that long. Maybe we should fire this much explosive at them in a rocket that long with right and this that. And but it's not simple just make them because they fly funny and they flew off. They early detonate. So you did right. This is what you get. This is what the Russians can do. Because mind you, the Russians have good schools, just like America's, right? They may not have an economic powerhouse, right? But they can go, how would we do this? We have physics and technology. You know who can do that? The fucking Afghanistan's who's got shit schools, right? They can't do it. The Iraqis can't do it. Iraqis can barely put together a tower. What are those things? Nuclear power tower, right? Barely. Education is the key, and a lot of these people don't want their people educated. Today, a Ukrainian defending Kiev or any other city armed with a javelin or an in-law would destroy a similarly capable tank. What is going on? Oh, good lord. Similarly capable tank. Thank you. If the costly main battle tank is the archetypical platform of the army, as in the case of Russia and NATO, then the archetypical platform of our navy, particularly America's navy, is ultra costly capital ship, such as an aircraft carrier. And by the way, we've got way more aircraft carriers than anybody too. So we could easily sit off your coast by 30 miles, 50 miles, launch air assault vehicles, F-16, da da da, with all this ordnance, everything from Javelin Hellfire missiles, which will blow you up, and everything in a 50-yard radius of you, right? Small explosion, wipe you and your family at the barbecue out. Um, to those stupid big ones that'll destroy a tank or a building, right? So, what you gonna do with that? What are you gonna do with that? You are not gonna get anywhere near those capital ships. They're way off the coast and they're loaded for bear. And if they do pull up on your coast, they're gonna unload tanks because they carry a shit ton of men and equipment. Good lord. So particularly America's Navy, is an ultra costly capital ship, such as an aircraft carrier, just as the modern anti tank weapon have turned the tide for the outnumbered Ukrainian army. The latest generation of anti ship missiles, both shore and sea based, could be in the future, say in a place like the South China Sea or the Straits of Hormuz. Uh, turn the tide for a seemingly unmatched navy. So they think this article is saying if you get something that can hit a ship at sea and sink it, yeah, I mean, if you can get if you can get something to wave a wand and have it disappear, yeah. What if we're pulling rabbit shit out of our ass? Look, it's the ocean. They can see you coming, and they can shoot at you as you come. Uh, they did let uh, that that ship too close. I want to say the curse, right? Didn't the curse get a hole blown in it? Is it the curse? It's not the it's not it's the curse. It's the curse. The curse? USS curse. Oh, it's not curse. It's the Cole. So the USS Cole, U.S. Navy uses 40,000 explosives. Yeah, the USS Cole, right? Blew a nice chunky hole in the side of it, um, but didn't sink it. Killed some people. Did not sink it. Uh, yeah, here's a picture of it, fully ablaze. Um, what are you gonna do with that? And nice to see you recovered. Thank you, William. I told you, man, it took a day. It took a day. I was here yesterday, right? I missed the day before yesterday. I didn't miss yesterday. I'm a mess. Um, I missed the 20. No, I was on the 21st. I didn't show up the 22nd. I was here yesterday. Oh my God. I gotta start writing this down because I'm getting old guy memory. Why is my volume down? All right. He's particularly America's Navy, in the ultra costly capital ships such as aircraft carriers, just as modern anti tank weapons have turned the tide. And the latest generation of anti ship missiles, both shore and sea, could in the future, say, in a place like the South China Sea or the Strait, turn the. It could be, but do we have those? Who would you fire those at? Where'd you fire those from? These tanks are getting taken out by guys hiding behind trees or in stairwells, right? Popping out, boom. I can see you in your boat standing up with a rocket launcher aimed at my ship, right? I'm at, am I in port? I don't know what. Both sea and Shikofi Future said that they're like on the Straits are moves. Okay, fine. Since February 24th, the Ukrainian military has convincingly displayed the superiority of an anti-platform centric method of warfare. Excuse me. Or as Jed put it, in Afghanistan, I used to feel jealous of those tankers. I used to feel jealous of those tankers, buttoned up in all that armor. Not anymore. Oh, he's saying I used to wish I was in a tank because, man, nothing touches those guys. Now he's like, Jeff, you couldn't pay me to get one of those things. Things are a death trap, right? That's how fast. That's how fast the technology has come around on destroying tanks. This brought Jed to the second subject he wanted to discuss: Russian tactics and doctrine. He said he has spent much of the past few weeks in the trenches northwest of Kiev. The Russians have no imagination, he said. Oh, man, look at that. No imagination. We cover this here all the time. Of course, you don't have any imagination. If your society let you have imagination, you would be a free society. Once you start thinking creatively, you're a problem for Russia and China and Saudi Arabia and Iraq and Iran and North Korea, especially North Korea. Right? So this is the way free people work. Here I am in my house watching video games and doing dick with my day. Freedom, baby. Meanwhile, someone else is over here, same country, same freedom, using his phone to make apps and come up with how you can buy this. And before you know it, you've got eBay. Right? Freedom. But other person is over here thinking a better way to make a bomb or this or interesting that. Right? Maybe that new bomb, look, the gun was invented through somebody who had a weird creative look at something. I think if someone in Russia invented a gun, they'd like it. Right? They did invent the AK, which one of the better guns in the world. But generally, if you're creative and your parents see that and you're young, they want you to stop. No, 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 no. That brings attention to us. That's bad. The state going, you're something wrote a poem about how great America is. What? So all that free thinking, we let shit go. And you can sit home in your third grade class and go, I love Russia. Russia is awesome. People will go, you grow out of that shit. And go right about their business. Other places will be like, father's fired from his job, got to move out of that house, like all this kind of like this is it, imagination. So of course the Russians don't have any imagination. They wiped it out of their people to control their people. But every now and then, look, have you seen the Russian space program? It's a carbon copy of our space program. But like I said, they do have colleges. So after we did it, and they looked at some stuff, they had to fill in the blanks and cut and paste to get a space program. But I mean, they were doing some interesting shit. They were shooting shit into space on rockets. But mind you, the rockets they had that they were shooting shit into space were old Nazi rockets that the Nazis were trying to make, that the Nazis were trying to weaponize, right? Um, as well as put a giant bomb on. So they were doing some of that too, but since there was no need of a giant bomb with this technology, I was like, hey, let's go to space. And then America was like, what the fuck are the Russians doing in space, right? And then America did a very Chinese thing. We can do that better, and we did the whole space race thing way better. Um, but yeah, no imagination. They don't have any imagination. Neither do the Chinese. No imagination. Imagination will get you killed in those societies. They would shell out positions, attacking large formations, and then their assault failed, do it all over again. Meanwhile, the Ukrainians would raid the Russian lines in small groups night after night, wearing them down. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to let your enemy sleep. Uh, yeah, observation echoed a conversation I had the day before with Jed's observation echoed a conversation I had the day before with and Andriy 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 Zagorodnyuk 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 Zagorodnyuk. Okay, okay. Uh, I, Jed's observation echoed a conversation I had the day before with Andriy Zagorodnyuk. After the Russian invasion of Donbass in 2014, Zagorodnyuk oversaw a number of reforms to the Ukrainian military that are now bearing fruit. He spoke. Oh, good lord! He spoke to the guy who stop that. He spoke to the guy who redid their military. That's impressive. Invasion of Donbass, 24 land. Da, 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 oversaw a number of reforms to the Ukrainian military that is now bearing fruit. Chief among them, changes in the Ukrainian military doctrine. Then, from 2019 to 2020, he served as the Minister of Defense. See? Oh, so that's good. So he was the guy who implemented the changes, oversaw the changes, and then he was the guy to implement the changes, right? So he was in Congress going, we need this in the books. And they were like, all right, fine. And then they were like, you're going to be the defense. And then he took those things that he fought for and disseminated them down through the ranks into the system. Good job. Russian doctrine relies on centralized command and control. Yes, I'm the big dictator. I have all the control. All central power lies in me, but that can be problematic. Don't the fighter just know when someone has locked onto you with a missile? Yes. Um. I mean, you see people shooting. What do they call it? Countermeasures. But countermeasures don't always work, and some anti aircraft uh, are proximity based, right? So you're flying through this place, and I need something, I need something, I need something. There you go. And I got this missile. I need something bigger than that. How about this? You're flying through this place, and I got this missile, like that helicopter video we just saw. Boom, and I blow you out the sky. Others, like because they are fast movers, like jets, right? Zip right through. So what happens is, before it blows up, you might be well past it. It'll detonate here and shoot flat and chunks from Brit and steel about that wide, this long, like whipping all through the air. It'll get into your engine. It fires like a bullet. It'll blow through your canopy. It'll blow through you, right? So when you do, flak doesn't do anything for that. Flak just heat-sinking missiles. Flak goes out in a giant flare, and then you hope that the heat of the flare is hotter than your engine and can blind the heat-seeking missile. Modern technology, just like all those cameras, some are infrared. some night vision. All those cameras, all these track cameras are sort of the same in the sense that, stop it, uh, are sort of the same in the sense that I don't need to fire. There are missiles that don't need to track your heat trail, right? Um, there's some that track outlines, so it knows the God damn it, what is the name? I'm about to say frequency of your new. Of course, right, because not all of them are heat based anymore, right? So, like for instance, some are motion based, right? So once it locks onto that image in the sky, it'll just track that image, and boom, right? So there's all this kind of like it's not as simple as the video games I play anymore. Uh, the human society, is really good at killing shit. Really good at killing shit. Um, I think we put a an outsourced sort of priority on it. Russian doctrine relies on centralized command and control, while mission command and control, while mission command and control, as the name suggests, relies on the individual's initiative of every soldier. See, this is a double-edged sword, right? So if you do great, they can elevate you, right? Or look, your unit did this, you will obviously get it. If you fuck up, it's your ass. Why did you? Right? It's not the leader of the whole army. It's your. Yeah, from the private to the general, not only to understand the mission, but really from the private to the general, not only to understand the mission, but then to use their initiative to adapt to the ex, exigencies of a chaotic and ever-changing battlefield in order to accomplish that mission. Although the Russian military has modernized under Vladimir Putin, it has never embraced a decentralized mission style command and control structure that is a hallmark of NATO. We said this a couple of weeks ago, right? The whole European system is based on NATO, and NATO is based on the American system. So all of Europe really look. Every nation has an army that runs slightly differently, right? Like your house doesn't run like my house. Your mom didn't run her house like my mom ran her house, and your dad didn't run his, you know, uh, homie hanging out drinking beer parties with the dudes like my dad or my uncle would have. Right? People are different, so nations are different. They do things differently, but I'm telling you, man, all of the world runs on how our command and control in the American way, in the American system. I guess that's good. Because I'm thinking if you can hack it for one country, you you committed that same hack for everybody. You just can't let the hack get out. But if everybody's using the same thing, like for instance, if everybody had a big breakfast before a battle, right? And that's let's say that's a military thing, and everybody eats a good meal before the. If I can hack that by going, oh, they all eat at X. I can either do something to the food at X, or I can attack when everybody's eating at X, or do any number of kind of like uh, things to sort of hack you, and that'll hit everybody because everybody eats at the same time, everybody does X at the same time, everybody does Y at the same time. Uh, but I think America is really decentralized. But I could be wrong. I mean, Well, what is American system decentralized? Although the Russian military has modernized under Vladimir Putin, has never embraced the decentralized mission style. What does that even mean? Because everybody listens to somebody and it comes from on high. So I think it means here's your mission, go do that thing. Unless we come to you going, this is the plan and this is how we're going to go do that thing, right? But normally it's like, go take that hill. Yes, sir. Right? Then you go and take the hill with your other captains. Okay, my squad is doing this. What are you doing, Bob? Okay, you take the front end, we'll take the back end, blah, 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 blah. We need a tank. We need some aviation. This is why, I mean, people, regular, low, not low, but like, people can call in whoever the commander and go, yeah, so and so got shot. We need X, Y, or Z over here. And who is this? I'm Private so and so. All right, fine. Right? I don't know, man. It has never embraced a decentralized mission style. Yeah, we're not centralized, but yeah, okay. Now I see this. Okay, all right. This makes sense to me. This is a little weird, but it does make sense to me. The Russians don't empower their soldiers. Ugh. You know, what empowering your soldier gets you coups in a place like that. Remember the last coup in Russia was 50 years ago. It wasn't long ago. It was during my lifetime. I watched it on TV. Not even 50 years ago. It must have been 30 years ago. It was in the 80s. The Russians don't empower their soldiers, Zagorowski explained. They tell their soldiers to go from point A to point B. The Russians don't empower their soldiers, Zagorowski explained. They tell their soldiers to go from point A to point B. And only when they get to point B will they be told where to go next. And the junior soldiers are really told the reason they are performing any task. This centralized command and control can work, but only when events go according to plan. Yeah, you want initiative, right? You want people to be able to think of the about the problem and solve it. And you may go, wow, soldier so and so solved this problem like we've never seen before. Here's a medal for you. And then you go to the rest of the army and go, this is the new way we are doing this thing, whatever that thing is, right? Because you found a better way to do it and one of your own discovered it. Uh, Versus the Russians' way of, what the fuck are you doing? That's not how we do things here. You're going to get me in trouble. Right? And that's it. You get me in trouble by you thinking out the box, and then I lose everything. Then my boss loses it. He'll be extra hard on me because somebody called him. It creates a paranoid sense of fuckery, quite frankly. It would be nice if tanks knew too. Knew what? I must have been missed something. Don't. Here's the thing. Oh, you mean about being pegged as incoming? Yeah, some of this stuff shit happens so fast, and it goes like this: beep 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 beep. A bell goes off, right? I'm just running through this shit in my head. It never happened, right? So I'm thinking you're flying. A bing goes off. You might know what it is, but you're gonna look down to where is that, and then you're gonna scan your area of where, right? Um, where's it coming from? I doubt that there's a panel that goes, you're facing 0 degrees and it's coming 10 to your right, and you can look at your, not 10, it's coming from your 1 o'clock to your right and look at your 1, or your 10 o'clock to your left. But what if it's coming from behind you? You jam the brake down. I mean, these things turn on a dime. Outrageous. Some of these things are just outrageous. I have been seeing guys get wiped out the last 3 weeks watching these things on YouTube. I'm just kind of like, wow, that guy's dead. Mama miss him, wife. Look, Russian soldier or fucking not, right? That's some dude who left his coil too soon. You know, right? He's got a mom and a sister and a girlfriend back somewhere. He probably not political. I'm political, but I'm not over there fighting, right? He's probably like 1,000 other guys that you know who just, excuse my language, ladies in the chat, who just want to cuddle up to some girl and squeeze the boobie and get a kiss and talk shit with his boys and blah 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 blah. But I need money and I don't want to work at. I don't know what's over in Russia, but here I don't want to work at Walmart or McDonald's. Maybe I'll join the army, see the world. Maybe I'll figure out what I'm gonna do in those 4 years while I'm. Hey, guess what? You're going to war. Wait, what? Yeah, this is your army. What do you think? Camp. Get your gear. You go over there. You might be one of the people who don't come back. But the narrative in the newspaper is what just the way we say it, right? We don't associate these dead people with connection to anything because then if you did that enough, people will go, why are we even fucking warring if that's someone's son? You don't. This is why the military and your government don't go, oh, the death reports from the war are sad. Bob, with so and so was only 19 and his mom wouldn't, they'll go, uh, Sergeant ensign, sir, 19 years old, died in battle at X, right? You may go, oh, no, but there's no kind of like, he had a little sister who he taught how to throw a football, and she's gonna miss him. He's gonna miss her. Is all that stuff makes you go, he should be here. Why are we having? It's got to be the bad news has to be dry and unappetizing. It can be emotional. It can only be emotional when you want them to war. So you can go, those guys over there, they killed Bob, and they're mean to children. Bob had a wife and a little kid, and he had a doggy. He loved to walk. Then you can go. He was 19. We need to go over there and kill a whole bunch of them, right? But the other way around, he had a dog, and he went over there, and we killed him, and he just got blown up. You'd be like, "Ah, why was he over there? What? No, that's not the way you're supposed to be feeling. You're supposed to be, no, no. You say he was young. Why was he over there? You tell me. Now they're like, we got this is why the government has this language. They say killing, isn't. They don't call it killing. I think they call it um, retirement or like the movies liquidation. All these other clinical terms of killing people. Right? Your military does not kill anybody. No, it kills people, but it doesn't murder anybody. Uh, I thought that was interesting because the military fucking absolutely murders people. Absolutely murders people. Not all their killings take place on battlefields with people in pith helmets and shit. And I'm fine with that. I totally get it. You're in a totally different fucking sphere. If I could even fathom it, I'd have joined up years ago. But now, as a person on the outside looking in, I can't judge that shit. And some of this stuff, I'm just look at it from my own sense of morality, like, oh my god, I could never do that. But as I watch politics and I look at it from government morality, yeah, I'll ice your fucking ass out to stop a war, to stop 50, 100 million people dying in a. Yeah, fuck you. You get it. You get it up close. If I have to slowly push the knife into your ear, out the other, slowly, as dark as that shit sounds, that's what has to happen so you don't destroy fucking 50 cities and fucking 100 million people, right? But just don't tell me about it. I don't want to know about it. Tell me, oh, so and so died in his sleep and now the war is over. Tell me that. Good lord. But if it comes out that you did it, then I'll be like, man, government's always lying. But I'll quite frankly, I'll be good with that one. But yeah, the whole thing is just a mess. This centralized command structure, this centralized command structure, oh, this centralized command structure can work, but only when events go according to plan. When the plan doesn't hold up together, that centralized method collapses. No one can adapt, and you get no one can adapt. No one can adapt, and you get things like 40-mile long traffic jams outside Kiev. No one, yes. Remember those dudes were standing in a 40 mile of just parked on the side of the road. And then after we watched them for like 10 days, they took all the tanks and dispersed them into the woods. So the road was clear, but I was like, dude, I know you're in the woods, right? And then that's the first time we talked about surveillance cameras, right? Some can see the exhaust and everything's black, but the warm bodies are all white. Others are red with the heat, right? So all these were things ways that they can see you walking around in the woods at night. And what did they do? They, like the song says, you dropped a bomb on me, baby. You dropped the bomb. They dropped bombs all throughout that wood, and I think they hit an ammunition depot. They killed a whole bunch of people, and I was just sitting there watching this like I could be a fucking general. This is ridiculous. I think I played this game. Um, are we even gonna look that? No, we're not, because we're already. Good Lord, how much of this? We don't have much of this to go. It takes me an hour to read shit. Uh, from point A to point B, when the plan doesn't hold together, the centralized method collapses. No one can adapt, and no one, and you get things like 40 mile an hour, 40-mile long traffic jams outside of Kiev. The indi- Good Lord, come on, man. The individual Russian soldier lack of knowledge or corresponding with a story Jed told me, or one that drove home the consequences of this lack of knowledge as part of the individual Russian soldier. During a failed night assault on his trench, a group of Russian soldiers got lost in the nearby wood. Eventually, they started calling out. He said, "What? Hold it! During a failed night assault on his so if so, it wasn't his failed night assault on. So wow, so they were attacked, but the attackers failed. So during the failed night assault on his trench, a group of Russian soldiers coming to kill you, a group of Russian soldiers got lost in a nearby wood. Eventually, they start calling out. He said, "I couldn't help it. I felt bad. They had no idea where to go." Wow. So you have to go kill them, and you feel bad because you're. This could happen to me. I'm a soldier. This should not be happening to me as a soldier, right? It shouldn't be happening to them as a soldier. I feel so bad. It's one thing to have to kill your enemy, but this is. I feel so bad. You're so. You're stupid, but not of your own accord. The people who sent you here set up a killing zone and didn't sent you to kill people and didn't protect you righteously, and now you are the kill zone in your kill box. You are the kill. You're in the kill zone in your kill box. So eventually, they don't know where to go, and they have to call out in a foreign wood. Did no one have a compass? These are our coordinates. This is how we have to go back. Ooh, wow. I couldn't help it. I felt bad. They had no idea where to go. When I asked what happened to them, he returned a grim look. What do you think happened to them? You can't let them go home. They'll be back tomorrow to shoot at you. You have to kill them. They're invaders. And even if you catch some young guy who's 19, you may feel bad for him. But if you catch 60, 19-year-old with guns and their boss who just burned down the city, you're feeling less. Because you can put all that sympathy and empathy on that one guy sitting there with those baby blue eyes going, "I'm from Moscow and this is my first week in the army and I don't know." And everybody go, look at this fucking guy. I feel bad for him. Because other soldiers are like 40 and 50 and they've been doing this a while, right? Um, they got to feel bad for you, but you're still the bad guy. They'll put you in. But these guys, a whole bunch of them, you're not taking. You can't hold their whole army and then send them back. Where are you going to hold these people? But you can't kill prisoners of war. There's a lot of prisoners of war killing stories about World War II. I'm not even going to bother you with it. Um, the Germans killed a whole bunch of Americans, and the Americans was like, "Oh, really?" And then a week later, at the same battle, the Americans won, grounded up all of the soldiers, and wiped them all out. And then at the end of the war, had a tribunal of war crimes, and the people who killed those American soldiers were hung for war crimes. But the American general who retaliated by killing all those not innocent, but those German soldiers, tis what it is, baby. Um, Instead of recounting that part of the story, he described the advantage Ukrainians enjoy in night vision technology. When I told him I heard that Ukrainians didn't have many sets of night vision goggles, he said that was true and they didn't need more. But we've got javelins. Everyone's talking about javelins as an anti-tank weapon, but people forget that the javelins also have a CLU. The CLU or command launch unit is a capable CLU. The CLU or command launch unit is a highly capable thermic optic that can operate independent of the missile system. Oh, so even if you don't have any weapons for it, you can still use. Let's look up this thermal optic. Let's look it up, baby, baby. Let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah, well, I mean, I meant here. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, see, so these are the things you see. Yeah, they can see you clearly. Everything else is black or gray, but you're orange and you're red. Your weapon is yellow and yeah. So these are the things. So when you're hitting those woods, they cut this thing on. All they did was see you walk around, and then they were just kind of like, yeah, kill all of those guys. Let's cut this off. Let's cut that off. Let's finish this thing because we're 20 minutes over, and I know y'all got to get to the club and work on your rap albums. All right. Thermal optics that can operate independent of the missile system. In Iraq and Afghanistan, we will often carry at least one javelin on the mission, not because we expect to encounter any Al Qaeda tanks, but because the CLU was such an effective tool. You can see at night. We used it to watch road interactions and make sure no one was laying down IEDs. The javelin has a range in excess of a mile, and the CLU is effective at that distance and beyond. Wow. So he's saying the javelin explosive can travel a mile, but the CLU visual on the javelin goes further. Huh. I may have to start my militia. I just asked Jay at what range they were engaging the Russians. Typically, the Ukrainians would wait and ambush them pretty close. When I asked how close, he answered sometimes scary close, or as what the military calls danger close. Right? If I remember my military jargon, danger close is you calling in airstrikes on somebody and you're close enough to be killed by those airstrikes. Right? It's you in a firefight with people. Um, you might as well all be in the same house, fighting up and downstairs. I mean, you're hand to hand combat close. Could you fucking imagine? Oh, I'm shaking my boots already. I'm needing rescue just from that thought. Lord, somebody send me some military ladies, please, to help me clear my head on this thing. Oh, we're chewing up some time here. All right, my stomach is killing me. I asked Jade at what range typically ambitious but pretty close. When I asked how close, he answers sometimes very close. He described one Ukrainian, a soldier he and a few other English speakers had nicknamed Maniac because of the risks he take engaging Russian armor. Maniac was the night was Maniac was here's that word was. Maniac was the nicest guy, totally mild mannered. Then in the fight, the guy turned into a psycho, brave as hell. And then after a fight, he'd go right back to being this nice, mild mannered guy. Maybe he was a nut job. I wasn't in a position to verify anything Jed told me, but he showed me a video he'd taken of himself in a trench, and based on that and the details he provided about the time in the Marines, his story seemed credible. The longer we talked, the more conversation veered away from the tangible technical variables of Ukraine's military capacity and toward the psychological of the Ukraine's military. Napoleon, who fought many battles in this part of the world, observed that the moral is to be physical as there the moral is to be physical as three is to one. The moral is to be as the moral is to hold on. The moral is to the physical as three is to one. I don't know what that even means. So we are gonna have to look that up. The moral is to the physical as three is to one. What does this mean? What does this mean? Napoleon's famous. aphorism. In war, the moral is a physical. In war, the moral is to the physical as three is to one. Brings into focus the pivotal importance of troop morale, as he frequently tried to motivate his troops by reward, medals, or promotions. In war, the moral is to the physical as three is to one. Bring into focus the pivotal importance of troop morale. The moral is important to the moral is to the physical as three is to one. What is three to one? Three is to one. One is to three will mean three times when I get that. Three is to one means what does this even mean? I don't understand what this means. I'm trying to wrap my head around the quote. I have to finish this story and let you guys go. But this quote is weird. In war, the moral is to the physical as three is to one. And that means bringing the focus the pivotal importance of troop morale. And he frequently tried to motivate his troops by reward. So what? What the fuck does this mean? What does this mean? Morale and troops. So it's a morale quote. In war, the moral. So be moral. The moral is to the physical. At three is to one. I'm so fucking confused. No! Did you see the Russian tank guy that got mad at his colonel and drove over him? That might. I'm look. Like I said, I keep telling you guys, I'm not military, but I'm pretty sure that might get you a paddling. Uh, my boy just sent me a bunch of vids we might check out before we go. I have to hook up my Twitter to this thing. In war, the moral is to the physical as three to one. What the fuck does that even mean? Sorry, now we're in Reddit looking around. uh, would someone mind clarifying this quote for me? Thanks. Yeah, he was talking. Too often follow hand. The two often follow hand in hand. Moral. Yeah, apparently no one could help you out. Two more discussion, two more comments. Yeah, no one could, no one knows what this quote means. All right, I'm gonna leave it be, and we're gonna continue as if we know what it means. I was thinking of this maxim as Jed and I finished our tea. In the Ukraine, at least in this first chapter of the war, Napoleon's words have held true, proving in many proving in many ways decisive. Excuse me. In my early conversations with Zachary Ragnarok, as he and I went through the many reforms in technology that had given the Ukrainian military its edge, he was its edge. You guys are dude. This is not over yet, and saying this shit is over and you're winning. It's like I was about to say. It's like saying that uh, ISIS won in Fallujah, but we left not because of them, but because the government finally said, "All right, fine, you motherfuckers get out." And we left. I think the fighting calmed down a bit, but it's still bad. It's still bad, but it's not as bad as we were there. So there you go. At least Fred Nobler, as we went through many reforms in Turkey, this has given the Ukrainian military its edge. He was quick to point out that one variable he believed trumped all others: our motivation is the most important factor, one more important than anything. Motivation is true. We are fighting for the lives of our families, for our people, and for our homes. The Russians don't have any of that, and there's no way you can get it. Yeah, this is the thing. I don't have to leave. I get to die here because I live here. You get to die here and be shipped back to where you're fucking from. So yeah, you don't belong here. I feel bad for this whole thing. This whole thing is ridiculous. The Russians don't have any of that, and there's no way they can get it. Elliot Ackman is the author of the most recently read dress. All right, so pretty good read. Let's. Why does it say Twitch? Um, Russian tries over commander. Let's see. Ugh, I gotta blow my honker. All right, we're gonna read this. Give me a second. Woo! Ran over his boss. Ugh. Sorry about that. Had to honk my honker. Let's close this. We can close this too. Oh Lord. It's always something when I try and dim the shades. All right. Russian soldier drives a tank over commanding officer Ukrainian journalist claims. Delusioned Russian tank driver runs over. All right. First of all, is there any images of this? Russian soldier drives a tank over so and so. No, I don't see any images of this. I see all stock, 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 stock. So let's see what they say. All right. No, I do not accept your bullshit terms. Let's do the post. The post is a rag that we can get into. What is this? Hold on, hold on, hold on. What am I watching here? These these are Russian soldiers. Look at this. This that symbol, Kadyrov 95. They're not wearing blue like. Ugh. All right. So wait, hold on. What is going on here? A Russian soldier reportedly drove over his colonel with a tank while the two other soldiers were caught venting about strongman Vladimir Putin's bullshit rather, invading Ukraine amid reports of heavy losses. Video released by Chechen leader Ramzan Kadyrov reportedly showed the wounded colonel being transported for treatment after being run over by a Russian soldier with a tank. Hold it. Where's all the blood? What did he get run over? Wow. His legs, I'm assuming, because his legs look flat. And this picture doesn't seem to show any feet. Yep, you can see it. All right. All right, and they're in the church. All right. Wow, that's crazy. I guess the story is truesies. Uh, the Russian soldier who was behind the wheel of the tank blamed the commander of the group, Colonel Yuri Medvedev, for the death of his friend, Ukrainian journalist Roman. The Russian soldier who was behind the wheel of the tank blamed the commander of the group, Colonel Yuri Medvedev. He gets a death penalty. That guy who ran over his, they're going to shoot him in the brain for the death of his friend, quote unquote. Ukrainian journalist Roman Simbalyuk said on Facebook, man, these names are going to. After waiting for the right moment during battle, he ran over the commander with a tank as he stood next to him. Having waited for the right moment during battle, he ran over the commander with his tank as he stood next to him, injuring both his legs. He wrote, that is a hell of a sentence. How are you standing next to him if you're in the tank? Um, Now Kramer is in the hospital in Belarus waiting for monetary compensation for combat wounds received during the quote unquote. Now Colonel Medvedev is in the hospital in Belarus waiting for monetary compensation for combat wounds received during his special military operation to protect the Donbass. Colonel Medvedev, Colonel Medvedev was awarded the Order of Courage, he wrote. Although there was no independent corroboration of the claim footage, uh, although there was no independent corroboration of the claim, footage released by Chechen leader and close Putin ally Ramzan's Putin ally Ramzan Kadyrov showed Medvedev being transferred to the hospital. Oh, at least he's alive. They killed 5 generals last week, right? According to a Russian soldier ran over. I mean, yeah, he's going to get a bullet to the head. The incident comes as two groups of Russian soldiers in Markov. The incident comes as two groups of Russian soldiers in Makarov. Makarov is a type of gun. So now we know where they come from. Makarov in Kiev region lost at least half of their comrades during heavy battles, something reported. Meanwhile, two Russian soldiers were heard complaining about the Russian quagmire in Ukraine in an intercepted phone call, the Daily Beast reported. Basically, it's a shit show here. I'll put it that way, a soldier named Mykolaiv said, a soldier near Mykolaiv near Mykolaiv in southern Ukraine was heard telling his comrade in a recording released by the Ukrainian Security Service. He lost both his legs, but he gets to get out of here, go home, stop dealing with fucking Putin, and retire someplace quiet. Cause this is some bullshit. He's probably sitting here thinking, but he can't. I mean, at the end of this chapter, they're gonna say, "I know the post." They're gonna, and what happened to the guy who ran him over? And if they don't know, they'll speculate. Likely, he's pushing up daisies or eating borscht with like Yuri or whatever. They're gonna say something smug and stupid like that. Um, his legs were run over. Legs were run over by a tank. The soldier just hold it. Security services. The soldier described how Ukrainian troops tore apart, quote unquote, tore apart a column of Russian forces and says 50% of his units suffered from frostbite to the feet. But they don't plan to treat them in the field hospital, so they're going to send them all home for frostbite feet. That doesn't make any sense. This is what I'm hearing about this thing. They shut off a lot of stuff, so you can't talk about this war in Russia. But they haven't shut off YouTube or Twitter and all these other things that you can share images with. We just looked up images, right, on YouTube, right? Uh, the YouTube people can watch YouTube. There's not an American YouTube in a. It's just YouTube. Uh, some English speakers post. There's not. Is there a YouTube.ru? Because I see a lot of foreign people on YouTube. When I say foreign, I mean even the British, right? So yeah, I mean it's weird. The soldiers described how Ukrainian troops tore apart common Russians. 50% of the unit got frostbite. They didn't plan to treat them in the field hospital, so they were going to send them back. And here's the thing about sending them back: they're not going to be quiet. They're going to go home and recover. They're going to meet their friends. Some of their friends are military, right? Who aren't right? They may have retired or have a different assignment. How's it going over there? Shit show. Oh, really? I heard Bob. Bob says it's a shit show. I heard so and so. And before you know it, it begins to like disseminate through friends and those networks, friends and neighbors and homies talking about, yeah, my so and so said X Y Z, and they'll be talking to like I'm talking to, let's say you, William. I heard Bob went over there and he didn't like it, and then William will go, oh yeah, my cousin's uh well, if he's your cousin, he's your cousin. My friend's cousin said his wife lost her brother, right? Or whatever. So somebody is going to affect enough people, even as they're trying to say nothing to see here. There's going to be a lot to see here. It's like the old jokes, the old Russian jokes. They knew the Americans said they knew Russia was failing when people started having Russian jokes, like food jokes about how there's no food, how because it implies people aren't scared anymore, right? So now they're ridiculing you. They may not ridicule you to your face and be carted off by the KGB, but at first it's a ridicule you and your mom and your dad go, don't say that, they'll hear us, right? But now everybody's going, man, the fucking government is it's too many people to throw in jail. But it also bleeds into faith in the group, in the organization that you're running. Um, and that's what this looks like. More and more people going home, just kind of going, that thing's a shit show, blah blah blah. And it'll be a whisper campaign of this is not going well. What is he doing? The service members also said their commander, Lieutenant Jean Yakov Rezant, Rezant, Rezantsev, Lieutenant General Yakov Rezantsev told them in the fourth day of their deployment that the war would be over quickly. Do you know what he told us? It's no secret to anyone that there's only a few hours until the special operation is over, and now those hours are still going. He said special operation is gonna be over in a couple of weeks. Doesn't matter, a lot of you, it's all fine. What you gonna do? You're all just fighting military people with guns. You're fine. Don't tell people with guns they're gonna be home in 2 weeks. Tell them it's a fucking war. I would rather be golfing too, but we're here for the duration. I'll let you know when I know. Even if you know, that's what you say. You tell them 3 weeks, and in 3 weeks it's over. 3 weeks is up, and they're still there. They're going to be hot. You can tell them 3 years. Cats will wait 3 years, and once 3 years is up, they will be hot. This is why I tell my nephew at the time. Look, man, if you say you're going to be here at 2:30, you can be late, but don't be 2 hours late. And when I say late, be like 5-10 minutes late. Because I'm mad if you're a half hour late, but show up. But country time is very different, right? New York time is, I'm gonna be there in 45 minutes. I'm gonna da 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 da. Here it's like, yeah. I ask them when. Oh yeah, I'll be around there. Wait, when is that? What is that? That's not a time. That's not on my clock. And they're like, what you got to do? Where you got to be? And I'm like, good point. Well, what the fuck am I going? On my New York minute shit here in the bucolic countryside. Get the fuck out of here. I'm talking to me. I need to get the fuck out of here. I'm telling me to get the fuck out of here. I do that a lot. God damn it, Sean, you're a mess. Get the fuck out of here. Mm. All right, so let's polish this one off. They will be he Lieutenant General Yakov Rezantsev told them on the fourth day their deployment that they told them on the fourth God Lord told them on the fourth day of their deployment that the war would be over quickly. Do you know what he told us? It's no secret to anyone. There's only a few hours until the special operations. He told you it's no secret to anyone. It's no secret that this is just a few hours till this is over. Just a few hours. Oh man. I mean, and the military can like after you run them over, they drag you out the tank and they can pull a bullet in your ear right there at the spot. But nobody makes command decisions like that. So you send them to be tried in Moscow where he's going to get the death penalty. Look at this little kid. A child walks in front of a damaged school in the city of Zhytomyr, Zhytomyr, northern Ukraine, March 23rd, 2022. Destroyed school. Here's the thing: there's going to be unexploded ordnance all over that place. Soldiers have complained that they were ignored when they reported that their Kevlar vests lacked hardened panels, according to the phone call. My Kevlar vest don't have any fucking bulletproof shit in it. But that fine stuff. You just a why you being a crying bitch? Go out there and fight the war with a spoon and a fucking balloon, a rubber band. Do it for not motherland. It's Russia, right? They do fatherland, right? Germany and Russia are fatherlands. America is a motherland. Don't even ask me. Um, Soldiers also complained that they were ignored when they reported that their Kevlar vests lack hardened panels, according to phone calls. According to phone calls? I don't think you can quote phone calls. I mean, you got to give me somebody. These people are the absolute freaking worst. All right. I may call you. We'll see what happens. I'm trying to see if I'm gonna call this lady back. I kind of don't really want a lady in my life, but I don't want to be rude. I'm not gonna call her. I'm talking about her on stream. It means I'm not gonna call her. Uh, Comrade General, Kevlar Vest, Comrade General, Comrade General, quote unquote, Comrade General, comma. Damn it, I have this situation. He recalls telling the general, Comrade General, and he just says, "Son, be strong," and then he fucks off. It's such trash here. Our own planes drops bomb on us. This must be his English. Comrade General, damn it, I have this situation, he recalls telling the general. And he just says, "Son, be strong." And then he fucks off. It's such trash here. Our own plane drops bomb on us. Drop bomb, not bomb, bomb, with singular bomb on us. They couldn't even send off the 200s here. 200s. They couldn't even send off the 200s here, he reportedly said, using Russian military term for dead bodies. They rode with us for 5 days. Oh, the 200 dead bodies. And they didn't pick them up, and you had to cart them around for 5 days. Wow. Look, I have said on this stream, we're going to finish this up, but I have said on this stream countless times, the Russians are a paper tiger. They cannot fuck with us as the American army, us, right? But they can't fuck with this country. We just with this country balls completely out of control. The rest of the world couldn't duplicate this if they wanted to. We're such a hot shit show of fuckery that managed to be thrown into a pot that sort of works semi well, even as the government fucking doesn't work for the people. We're constantly and perpetually at each other's throat, and that war, I don't know. I don't know what the magic of this fucking place is. Because other places can't duplicate it. Other places have multicultural societies. Maybe they need more hatred in their societies. I don't know. I don't know. Uh, the Palestinians have enough hate. Maybe they should have hatred, musical instruments, and a little freedom to do something other than blow up Israelis. Uh, I don't know why we are different in this country. I really don't. I know black people are wholly different from any black people in America are wholly different from any other group of black people in the world. Whether it's on the continent, when I say continent, I mean Africa. Whether it's in Haiti, the nation of Haiti in the West, the only black nation in the West, or the nations of Africa proper. Haiti, right? That's the only one. All right, let's polish this one off and put it to bed. He added that even in Chechnya there was nothing like this special operation, quote mark. Damn it, With respect to homes not meant to be destroyed, it's bullshit. He added that even in Chechnya there was nothing like this. This special operation, comma, damn it, with respect to homes not mentioned to be destroyed, it's bullshit. So he's saying, other than blowing up people's houses, which is bullshit, this whole thing is bullshit, right? He's saying this was not like this when I fought in Czechia. This whole thing is bullshit. Blowing up people's houses is bullshit. He's saying that. Let's read that one more time. He added that even in Czechia there was nothing like this. This special operation, damn it, with respect to homes not meant to be destroyed, right? Those homes not meant to be destroyed, that's bullshit. Um, right? With respect to that's what that he's not saying everything else is bullshit, but that was fine. On Wednesday, NATO estimated 7,000 to 15,000 Russian soldiers have been killed in fucking 4 weeks. Wow, wow, 7 to 15,000. That's that's double. That's like that's not one or two people, right? That's not two or four people, right? That's not 5 or 10 people. That's not 7 or 14. That is a wide gap. 7 to 15,000. You should be closer. I would say if you said 10 to 15, I would get that. But 7 to 15, seven is a solid number. But then to get to 15, you've got 8,000 more people. Look, an educated guess, if you didn't, you could have said like 10 and 15,000, right? Some say low end 7, but I think 10 to 15 is better. Or if you would have said 7 to 10, some say high end would be 15. I would give you that. But this is too big a number to be. Oh, God. It's called guesstimation, right? If I say how many miles it is to New York, you don't go, it's between 50 and 650 miles. That's not a guesstimation. I'm about to, yeah, that's not a guesstimation. Uh, oh, I'm so used to talking to my friends. I almost said that's not a guesstimation, you idiot, right? Because this is how me and my goofy friends talk to each other when we're talking about, what do you think the fucking Jessica gonna win? The fuck are you smoking, right? So it's that kind of weird energy, but I can't do that because I'm streaming. I don't really know you personally, but it's that's the kind of weird energy, right? 7 to 15,000, between 7 and 15,000. That's not a good guesstimation. It should be 10 to 15 or 7 to 10 in 4 weeks, though, where fierce resistance and the country's defenders have denied Moscow the lightning victory it sought. I think Moscow wanted to run in there and lock the whole place up, and then just talk shit to the UN, NATO, and the rest of the world, and we'll pay amends. But meanwhile, we got this in this house, and you can't do it. And we've got the Donetsk Sea and Chechnya, and now we've got a port to the Atlantic because they didn't have that because all the Eastern Bloc countries, the Yugoslavia, Chechnya, um, I'm about to say Belize, not Bahrain, not Belize. What's the other country over there? Anyway, all those Russian bloc countries are all around the port. By comparison, Russia lost 15,000 troops over 10 years in Afghanistan. Huh, how many people did we lose in Afghanistan? If I remember correctly, I want to say we lost 2,300 people in Afghanistan. Wait, how many people did we lose in Iraq? Hold it, let's do it. Afghanistan. How many soldiers die in Afghanistan? 2,401. What did I say? 25? Who's in the chat? Somebody tell me if I'm right in the chat. Did I say 2,400? Did I say 2,400? I was off by one. I love streaming to people because when I do this with my friends, when we used to do it at bars, and I would tell people political philosophy, they would roll their eyes at me, and I would shout out, "I'm like, no, I think that's blah, blah," and I would blurt out some number that I was pretty sure was right because I read it someplace. Usually not someplace. I can tell you where I read the shit. Normally I read it in the Times or the Post or the Daily News, right? Or the not so much the Wall Street Journal. Um, what's that paper that was pink? I think it's the Wall Street Journal. And all their, I loved it because all their portraits in it are drawn. And then anyway, hold on. Uh, Wall Street. It wasn't the Wall Street Journal. What was it? News. 1921 hostile deaths. Well, they're saying a lot of the others were what? Traffic accidents? Because some people died in traffic accidents. Hit by. Hi, hey girl, how you doing, leggy lady? I hope all is good. We're trying to solve the world problems here. This whole Theranos, yeah, the Wall Street Journal. Yeah, this is the paper. You just have, yeah, this is it because you can see the drawing. I mean, the idea. I love as someone who drew. I love the idea that well now they have fucking photos in the paper, but back then they were they were drawing pictures. I loved it. At least I thought they were drawing pictures, but I knew they had to be something else. Hey, look, someone's got an address here. Laura Coleman. Yeah, yeah. This is why before you put shit up, VA. Before you put shit up, you just take a fucking marker and wipe your name out. Your name, uh, your address, and your zip. Everything else is just could be anybody. But you know, it is what it is. So yeah, the New York Times. Let's get back to this. Look at this. Look at this. A man walks in front of a damaged house in the city of Zhytomyr, northern Ukraine. All right, soldiers uh, tried to drop the bomb on us. Our own plane dropped the bomb on us. They couldn't even send it 200. So I guess code for the Russian dead. They rode with us for 5 days. He added that even in Chechen there was nothing like this. Right, 715,000. That's bad guesstimation. I don't care what anybody says. 7 to 15,000. When you gonna be home? Oh, between 8 o'clock and Tuesday. What? What kind of guesstimation is that? 7 to 15,000 in 4 weeks. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm stuck on this number. People do stuff in the world, and I just sit here and go, "What?" Like, here's an example. There's a person in my family, and we're always arguing, and he'll use a word uh, that doesn't mean what it you know. So, to give you a broad example, um, I can't even give you an example because I'm arguing with you to get something out, and you're using something that doesn't mean what you think it means, right? So, example, woke, right? I was taught to be woke early. I look around, woke is a bad definition. But in the black community of America in the 60s and 70s, woke means don't get fooled by these people. Um, the cops are will plant stuff and you gotta uh, you gotta keep your eyes open because America has been unfair to you. Don't fall for it. Don't make it easy for this unfair society to do you in. Right? That's what being woke means. Versus just plodding along like everything is fair. The word re comes around. The first thing this society does with its racist energy is demonize it because it's a word found in the black uh, civil rights, early Black Panther, 70s diaspora of the language. So now, if you're woke, you've got to be an idiot. So don't be woke. But I'm like, how is being woke a bad thing? Even for what you don't have to be black, but if you're a lady, there has to be a certain amount of wokeness for you. How drunk are you going to get around men you don't know in an environment you don't know? Right? or just safety shit like that. Not everybody is like it can be trusted, right? Some people come across as sketchy and sinister. Well, he strikes me as weird, but I'm just gonna get into that van and go to that cabin in the woods, never to be seen again anyway, right? No, you're gonna be like, I've got my haunches. I don't know what it is about her, but I don't like her. I don't know what it is about him, but I don't like him. I don't know what it is about. Uh, I don't know. Going into the city on a bus, always get, and then you go there and you get stuck like you said you were gonna do in this, and then I know I shouldn't have come. Right? There was something going on here that you should have paid attention to, right? And that's what it is. I don't want to explain to the judge that the cops planted this shit on me, right? I don't want. I know how cops are unfair, so I should keep my eyes to making sure um, I'm not an easy get for a corrupt individual. I'm not paying twice as much as I should because I'm black. All these kind of fucked up things that America has done just to my group in this country over the last 250 years since we've been a country, and up to when Columbus bought us, not us here. Columbus showed up to the New World with us with slaves. So we were some of the first people who stepped foot in the bitch. Look at us. And here's another thing about American history: the Indians thought we were gods. They were like, look how dark and muscular and fucking tall and how much meat they swing. It's ridiculous. So, but this is ancient and old people. Can you imagine if you never saw? The only way I can say this is like, imagine a UFO came down. Your mind, first of all, the way the human animal works is your mind is can only be blown so much before you're like, yeah, fucking UFO. So what? Isn't that crazy? The idea that all of human history, people were like, you can't. The closest we can get is to paint a portrait. Then all of a sudden, you could have an image of a person, and not only that, you could record their sound. This is mind blowing to him, and we take it as like fuckery. Plain for all of human history, people would lay in the grass during caveman days and watch the birds. Some would put bird wings on it and jump off of shit and kill themselves, right? Up until the Montgolfier brothers, right? There's famous stories of the boys, not the boys, the son and his father, the moon, Daedalus and Icarus, right? Icarus and Daedalus. Uh, Everybody wants to, right? You get it. Now you can fly, go anywhere. You're like, gotta take my shoe. What is this shit? I'm like, it's a fucking miracle. You see it every day. And people are just kind of like, planes, so what? It's in communication. Halfway with anybody around the fucking world. So what? People, so I'm telling you, when the aliens come down with their, we're going to be like, oh, oh. After a week and a half of that, the people are going to be like, so what, fucking aliens? What have you done for me lately? So you cured cancer, so what? That's the nature of people. So people are just, they're just not impressed for very long with great shit. Yeah, and your phone is just a wonderland of interesting technology, and people only really use it to surf the web, buy shoes for the ladies, and look up porn for the guys, right? Um, it is what it is, and you really can't blame the people because the society doesn't encourage the people to know as much as they can, right? And if you like to learn, people call you stupid or boring, right? That kind of thing. If you're religious, you don't even have to talk religion to people. People just instantly go, like you showed up. I'm a Christian. Everybody stop holding hands and kissing each other, right? No more jokes, right? What are you talking about? I'm like, so what? Be Christian over there, right? Okay, then you go be Hood over there, and you go be a Karen over there. You no, the whole bowl is just a mix of fuckery. You are what you are, and you should be happy to be that because you don't hurt anybody doing it. But someone will be happy to show up in your life and tell you what you need to change about you. Those are the first people you shouldn't listen to because the people I've noticed in America, there's always something wrong with you. You're too short, too tall, too fat, too this. Are you unhappy? You're unhappy. You know why? Because you told me I'm too short, I'm too tall, I'm too fat, I'm too this, I'm too that. But that's not what they're gonna say. Oh, you know what? Stress, anxiety. You know what you need? You need these pills. Here's some pills, right? Take three of these every day for the rest of your life. The get your refills. The refill is $400 for pills, but you get Medicare and all this stuff. So you only pay 70, and the government gives the giant big pharma the other 350 of it. What? All of America is a con game. It really is. All of America is a fucking con game. Complete corruption at every level. I don't even know how it works. I really don't even know how the lights stay on in this bitch. Um, but I think it's gonna be come to an end sooner than you think. Just because all the grandstanding from politicians, they don't do any. Like today, Joe Biden said we're gonna take 100,000. I'm about to call them Kievis. They're not Kievis. They're Ukrainians. What's wrong with me? 100,000 Ukrainians into America. And the first thing I thought was, okay, one, war's not over. Two, why are they staying here? Aren't you supposed to defend the place? If everybody can abandon it, can I go over and take it over? Right? I mean, what passes for common sense and good policies outside our borders just always just strike me as what are these idiots doing? Um, and they're just talking in front of cameras, and then they do stuff that then we have to pay the price. And when I say we, I mean all of we. I mean not just we Americans here. I think you Britons have to pay a price. I think the French will have to put the Germans will have all of the West to keep this juggling act in the air. We the citizens of the Western countries uh, have to swallow a lot of bullshit. A lot of bullshit. Some countries are better. Like we don't have universal health care, and we should. Um, but some countries are worse. Like Japan, I thought America's judiciary was just a fuck mean spirited shit show on the citizenry. And then I heard about the Japanese criminal justice system, and I was like, you win. Okay, so the Japanese. Do you know guys know about the Japanese system? We're not even gonna finish this because it's well, we should finish it. It's like three sentences left. Uh, the Japanese system. Okay, let's finish this. By the way, the Russians lost 15,000 troops in Afghanistan in over 10 years. Uh, when Russia unleashed its invasion in February 24th, Europe's biggest offensive since World War II, a swift toppling of the Ukrainian government seemed likely. But after 4 full weeks of fighting, Moscow was bogged down in a grinding military campaign. This is what you have here. You have see they covered this up. Down here, this Ukrainian troops held onto Mariupol, the one. Uh, good man, I can't even see my cursor. Uh, where's my cursor? Okay, here you go. So this Mariupol one, the second, uh, actually the little black box in the water right next to uh, Kiev, not Kiev, right next to Chechnya, right down here. Russia wanted this because they had all these secret bases down here, and then the country fell apart. And at one point, this was all Russia, all this water, and now it's not. It's got this little inlet. It needs a place for its submarines and all this shaky stuff. And I think it'll make a deal. You can have all of like the top of Russia and Belarus and all this. Just give us the Ukraine down here, Kherson, Mariupol, and Berdiansk, which is closest to Russia. That gives them that giant pond, uh, and it gives them what they took 10 years ago, Chechnya. And I think they're like, you can have the rest of the country, but just give us this, and you shouldn't give it to them, because now they don't really have a good way to have their ships hit the sea. They don't. So yeah, they have to invade. So man, the whole thing's ridiculous. All right, what were we gonna look up now? We were gonna look up. Let's close this. We were gonna look up. Let's check the chat. I honestly don't understand why you don't have a universal healthcare system. Uh, well, I can tell you exactly why we don't have a universal healthcare system. Money. I get to fleece everybody for $5,000 for everything, all the time. It's greed, is why we don't have it. So the Japanese justice system. Oh my God. Someone wrote an article. Where is that article? Greg Kelly. Um, Dang it, Japanese justice system unfair. Where did I? Did I take? Because normally when I read stuff that's interesting, what I do is I take a picture of it, so I have the title, so I can look it up because I'm fucking crazy. Oh, I want to read this tonight too. Supreme Court blocks revised Wisconsin map that creates a new black voting district. We're so fast. I mean, they do this shit, and no one goes, "That dude is obviously bad for like governance." No one cares, man. All right, so I guess I don't have it. All right. Oh boy, I hate that. I could have sworn I took a picture of it. All right. Was it in Vanity Fair? Japanese Justice Vanity Fair. Where did I read it at? That's not it. All right. All right. I guess I don't have it. So what? Essentially, their system is guilty till proven innocent. Um. Yeah. They have a conviction rate of 99%. I mean, so if anybody ever puts handcuffs on you, you're going to jail. No one's ever wrong. If you're arrested, you're going to prison. Uh, it really is crazy. Former Nissan executive convicted over Carlos Ghosn pay case. Right? Everybody gets convicted. Ex Nissan executive found guilty of helping Carlos Ghosn commit financial fraud. Arrived at the Tokyo District Court on Thursday. He was given a 6-month suspended sentence. Everybody's guilty. Trump ex-president sues Hillary Clinton alleging plot to rig the 2016 election against him 5 hours ago. He's not going to let that go. And you know what? I hate to be the one to say it. I don't think he should let it go. Every few months, something else turns up about this fucking election. And my whole thing is this. I think the elections are fraudulent, but that's just my stupid opinion. I'm not trying to get banned from YouTube who does dumb shit like that. Ban people for political speech, which you're not supposed to do in America. But apparently YouTube is its own country. By the way, YouTube, you suck. Uh, and I said it before, your free speech policy cannot be more stringent than the nation's free speech policy. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not. I'm always end up defending Trump. Uh, the idea that you take a former president and you ban him from speaking on social media, I find to be bullshit. Uh, yeah, let him say dumb shit. Let the world know if he's stupid or not. He's not some random yokel in a bar in Wisconsin. The president of the United States. I don't understand what is going on here. Yeah, so this is why you get all the mad energy. So I'm not going to be able to find this. Anyway, yeah, I was like, yeah, you're guilty, and you have to somehow against an unfriendly judge, I mean, there's there's definitely some weirdness going on with the Asian countries. They're all a ball of fuck. They really are. I mean, you think all of Africa is a hot mess. The Asian countries have essentially a whole lot better standing in the world, but they are a shit show. Yeah, exactly. He should be able to spew his dumbness on the, and then you should be able to go, did you hear what Trump said? Pfft, that guy, it's amazing he got to be president. He's an idiot. I'm never, now he's not, and people are sitting here, you know, he's become the cause celeb for these people. And another thing about him is he does evil shit like all the other politicians. Like all the other and all the other politicians are like corrupt, corrupt, corrupt. And I'm like, you took all this money from the fucking Russians and run for president, Bill Clinton. Right? People are taking money from the communist Chinese. Joe Biden. Look, this is why the place is a shit show. They don't want the bad thing to be gone. They want their enemy who did that bad thing to be gone and their ally who did that bad thing to just stay. Remember all those Me Too women who were accusing the women who accused Cuomo, who like, she just wants money, she's a liar, and da 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 da, because they were in with the system, so they can point their finger at Trump and go, touchy, rapey, piece of shit Trump, but then all of a sudden everybody's quiet with Cuomo, with Andrew Cuomo, his brother, I forgot his brother Cuomo, um, and Bill Clinton and all this stuff. And on top of this whole Me Too stuff, no one ever goes, look, we have it hard here being women, get hitting on that word is outrageous. And it doesn't help that Susan has slept with every boss in this place. She's blowing the curve, right? And you may go, well, it's a woman's prerogative to do at work. Really? You can't have all of it and eat it too, because people like me will tell you. We will mansplain to you. I'm thinking about having a Wednesday show just for women. I'm going to give you a little bit of this. First of all, the Japanese thing is ridiculous. But let me give you a little bit of my mansplaining. Women fuck up. Yeah, they do. I hate to be the one to say it. I think women should call women on fucking up. Because in this modern era, I don't think the modern women like to be called on their fuck ups by the men. But the women have to do that. You can't just let it slide. You can't, because, man, I have seen some goofy shit. Some goofy shit. And I'm like, what would you think? I could tell you goofy shit going on in my family. And I'm just kind of like, what the ever loving? Uh, it is what it is, right? In my family, there's enough women who will let you have it. They'll let the men have it, they'll let the women have it. The men will let the women have it, and they'll let the men have it. It's a true tongue that you need somebody to let you know what you're doing. So, I'm not out here talking about what you're wearing and if your skirt is too short to go to the party. I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying when weird shit jumps up uh, in the workplace between men and women and all these people, that the only people talking about this cannot be pro the thing, whatever the thing is, right? So we're talking about the Me Too movement, right? There's got to be people who think some of this behavior is wrong. Those people have to say something other than this whole, we're all women, we shouldn't be taking shots at each, because that's, no, right? That's like the whole, we're all whites and we should stand against the, whatever, name your minority, right? What do you run on? What is your personal philosophy to walk through this life, right? Please tell me you have one. Because I was telling my lady friends, all these women talking about, oh, I'm getting harassed at work, and oh my goodness, and so and so touched with it. I'm telling you, some guys, and this is America I'm talking about, not other countries. Some guys are gonna roll up and go, oh, women getting molested at work. This is outrageous. We had to put about to say Bill Clinton. We had to put Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein in jail. I can't believe it. This is outrageous. Every day there's more cases, 1,000 lawsuits. I propose that we protect these women by not letting them work, by making sure if they leave the house, they have a man so they're safe, not letting them drive. Then all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck is going on here? So yeah, you better be like, whoa, 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 whoa. What the fuck did you do at work? You got a whole history of this bullshit. You are the problem, right? That stops from being I'm the innocent victim of men and I need to be. Other women go blah 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 blah. I worked in offices da da da. Or and don't get and listen to what I'm saying. I got into this with my homie. I'm not against you dating anybody. I'm not dating. I'm against dating at work. But I'm not. You meeting somebody at work and having a relationship and getting married or having it fail and stuff. I'm talking about dating at work. I dated this person at one job. Oh, then I dated that person at another job. Totally fine. I'm talking about I dated four people in this office. I dated two guys downstairs. I dated a girl upstairs. I got transferred to this place. Then I did, that's just high school dating at work. You're gonna end up making enemies, and like I was saying, all these people, I felt so bad. I'm like, where's your agency, right? And there are women who like this happened. I went to HR the next day and reported it, and I'm like, I love those women because they're about it. They took a bad player off the table so he doesn't fuck with a woman coming down the pike, right? These guys will sit there for 30 years. So the guy who harassed you when you were 28 at that job, 20 years later, he's still harassing women. He harassed not the next 28, but the 28-year-old two decades behind you. You could have saved her a lot of drama if you said that guy is a piece of shit. Having said that, having said that, people throw allegations around like it's nobody's business, right? But people have resumes. Your life is your resume. Oh my God, that was and I know one thing isn't always he could still should have done this life and ended up with this thing. But for the most part, he's bothering people who don't want to be bothered. And you should call him on it. He should lose his gig. It shouldn't be 30 years. But the way it works is, oh, I'm rich. I'm putting money in people's pocket. People are, yeah, until the whole thing falls out, and then everybody's a victim of somebody. Like that we read a couple of days ago, the actress who they kept attaching to this meter. It's only one of them too. And I come in my head, I came up with four. And my whole thing on that, the four I came up with is, why do I know this about you if I'm not even in your industry? Because when it broke, the names hopped up. I bet it's so and so. I bet it's so and so. I bet it's so and so. Right? What was her name? Gretchen Mall. Right? Who completely stopped acting after this. Right? She took some questions about it. How dare you? She was like, "That's outrageous," and I would never. You can't prove she did or she didn't. But if your name keeps coming up, I mean, your reputation is a thing. You are not putting my look on stream. I have gotten hot on stream several times when people make corrupt cop jokes because I don't think they're funny. You're assuming a lot, and you're saying I was a dirty cop, and you can go fuck yourself with that bullshit. Fuck, you can go fuck yourself because that is one of the worst things to be. Um, you do like the dirty cops. Get the dirty cops out of there. One dirty cop can fuck with people for 30 years, make you do nothing but hate that agency, and you want. Well, I don't think they really want good energy in the community, but if you wanted it, you're not getting it if you keep that guy on in play, right? It's the same thing as these run around guys in the workplace and these run around women. And I don't mind if they bump uglies. Know who you're dealing with, right? Because then you guys can just offend each other and keep it moving, and you can leave so and so who wants to try and run the company in 20 years to busting her ass and long nights and all this good shit. But this is what you get, right? But I find the first thing that all people who are these people want to do is get the people out who will expose them. So if all my friends like to get together after work at the Walmart or the lot and smoke a J and talk shit, and you don't smoke but you want to hang up, we don't want you around here. Especially if the whole building does it, they hired a new so and so. We gotta feel you out. We gotta wait. I'm going to church every Sunday, and the Lord is good. Do I smell weed? I have to call the cops. Now you're like, oh, we gotta get so and so out of here. She's a fucking pain in the ass. Nobody likes her or him. Excuse me. So if that's the case, nobody likes you, and in the work environment, even as you're there, you're not making any friends. You're not, you know what I mean? Because they've got a different agenda than work. They've got a high school social party agenda, and you have a I want to work agenda. But some people are ridiculous. I have had I've heard stories where people got really ridiculous at work parties. I heard one story where the woman couldn't go back the next day. She quit immediately after she sobered up and what she did at the work party that everybody knew. And I was just kind of like, what is wrong with people? What is wrong? Heard about it from her girlfriend because she wasn't going to tell that story. Right? It's goofy. But here's the thing, ladies. You're a modern woman. You can do what you want. You pay your own, what is it? You pay your own rent and you da 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 da. But you still live in a society. And you want to hear, I don't think this is sexist, but I had to tell this. There are 5% conviction of, there's a 5% conviction rate for rape. I don't think that number is right at all. I don't think that number is right at all. Well, maybe in England, but I think the conviction rate is way higher than that. Uh, but I do believe most women don't report it, which is tragic, because they know they're going to be put themselves being shamed and victim blamed, and there's a little chance of conviction. I don't know about that. And I hear this shamed and victim. I think this is an argument that still being recycled from the 60s and 70s. The modern woman, does all these things that you'll go, hey, you got an OnlyFans account? And she'll be like, yeah, so what? Mind your business, right? I think the energy of the modern woman isn't shrinking, violating like there was from the women raised in the 50s to be one thing. And then by the time they were in their 20s or so in the 70s, there was this stigma attached to this thing, and it shouldn't have been. You were the victim of something, but there's this stigma attached to it. And then, as well as these sexist asshat racists who ran the judicial system here in America. I'm talking right. So, but now I think a lot of that energy we're still big on racism, but we still big on protecting the lady, right? In this American system, women get away with straight wreck in this country. Um, yeah, yeah. The judiciary is a joke. Uh, what was I reading about? I was reading this book about lawyers and the judges that they like their cases and some of the judges that they had were interaction with some of the opposition court person they had interaction with, filings, like it's just a whole bunch of lawyer stories about a segment about judges, a segment about if you're a public defender, a segment about your prosecutor, and if you prosecute, a section about what the public defender did, right? Uh, a section about what your client did, all these kind of things. And there was a section about how these women would manipulate like judges. So there was several judges in this one story. One was an old guy, and you'd walk up with your a ponytail and, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. Let me help you, young lady. And then you show up in your case, and he would rule for you against like. And there's another guy who's just a horny fuck, and you would like dangle your shoe off your foot and like do this with a pen, and he'd be like, yeah, and you manipulate that judge. And I'm sitting here going, people are going to jail for 30 years over games like this. What? I should. What is that book at? Do I even have it? Who has it? I'm gonna find that book this week. Tales from the No, it's not Tales from the Bench. That's a judge thing. Tales from something. Tales from the Tombs. Tales from the Tombs. Tales from. God damn it, the Tombs, right? The Tomb. The Tombs was a slang terms from. Is this it? From Tales from the Tomb paperback. No, this is science fiction. The Tombs is cop slang for where you would take arrested people in Brooklyn. It's the Tombs, and there's also Tombs in the Bronx. Cop stories, not cop stories, lawyer stories. Lawyer, I'm going down a rabbit hole. Somebody stop me. Lawyer stories. I think I have the book. Here's the thing. Uh yeah, the tomb is maybe it's just called the no, it's not called the tombs. Um yeah, the tomb, the story of Wall Street. Spark no summary to the huh. Here's the thing. When I stopped being a cop, I got rid of all my cop shit. Everything but my gun belt, uh, gun clips, old badge. I have an old badge in there. A couple of shirts and my cap. Threw it all in a bonfire. There, right? Never gonna wear a suit again. Never gonna do any of this shit again. Don't watch cop shows. Don't never watch Law and Order. Any of that shit. Just kind of like it was miserable work. I'm glad I did it. Miserable work. Don't need to come home and watch it on TV. Um, but before I became a cop, I absorbed all this cop shit, trying to like get my head around it. Now I don't remember the book. T- Tales from the Tomb. Tombs. Was it Tombs? It was because it was about New. I want to say it was about New York City with other people in it. Anyway, Tales from the Tomb. I've got Tales from the Crypt in my head. Crypt. Tales from the Crypt. Is that it, right? Tales from the Crypt. Tales from the something. All right. Anyway, let's check the chat. It's actually lower in the states. The FBI figures are on the internet. Here's here's the thing. Um, the FBI's numbers. The FBI did not carry shooting numbers because, quite frankly, they were embarrassing. So now the FBI carries how many innocent people the cops shoot in America, and they started carrying that stat. I want to say 5 years ago, after yet another ridiculous police shooting. What's the shooting on cops who shoot innocent Americans? FBI, uh, we don't keep those stats. Wait, I'm sorry. What? You keep stats on everything, but you don't keep these stats? The fuck out of here. So now they keep the stats, and they've been keeping them for 5 years. And they tell you American cops shoot a lot of innocent people. My favorite ridiculous shooting is a cop who shot what was she, a pastry chef, and she had moved to Detroit from Australia, and she called the cops because she heard something in her backyard. The cops go out there. She goes out to meet the cops. The cops shoot her. She approaches the driver's side window. Do I have this right? No, she approaches the passenger side. He's driving. She approaches the passenger side window. No, 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 no. It's the I got it. Either she approached the passenger side window, and a cop shot her. In he was in the drive. He reached over his partner. That's the thing. That do you know how loud a gun firing is in a closed car? He just reached over his partner, shot through the glass, killing this woman who called the. It's fuckery moronitude like that, and you just go, why was he hired? And then they all say the same thing. I did it to save my partner. I was in fear for my partner's life. And then they asked his partner on the stand, were you in fear for your life? He was like, no. And they were like, did you not know she was coming? Like, yeah, I mean, I knew she was coming, but everything is not a threat. Tamir Rice was 12 years old. You should be able to grab some of these people. And my whole thing is you should have your head on a tactical swivel. Why are you sitting in a car in a dark alley letting somebody walk up to your police car? Idiot. I don't get it. You come in, you turn on the high beams, you slow roll to get to the address because it said night, you're looking for an address, and you're looking around. And if somebody's walking up behind you, go, somebody's coming up behind us, right? Stop the car. You both pop out with your flag. All right, hold it right there. Good enough. Oh, yeah, I called the cops. Oh, all right. Yeah, what's the problem is? Versus you pull up to the scene in a dark alley, and then I guess you see something out the corner of your eye because you had to see something to pull your gun and shoot, right? You didn't just pull your gun and then there was someone there and you shot. And then you just pull the trigger and you kill this 35-year-old lady. Explain it. And I told people, they used to do this and go, that guy was on drugs, PCP, criminal records. And I told my friends then, it's going to get to the point where they're just killing anybody. And now Nobody, people without criminal records, old ladies, elderly, white folk, which never used to get this. White folk moved here from foreign countries. Shot what? What? There's nothing wrong with America's gun laws. There's something wrong with Americans. I mean, your gun is not your girlfriend. Maybe that's the problem. I look at a gun as a tool. I carried one forever, and then I stopped carrying one. And now everybody carries one, and I'm like, maybe I should carry one again. But I think people, I think they get what they want, right? Oh, I can't wait to get me a gun, get me a gun. Then they get one, and then the first altercation, you're shooting somebody. Then the first thing you're thinking while you're sitting in central booking, looking at 30 years in jail, is I should never have fucking bought that stupid gun. Should have bought a drone camera, right? It's amazing. The Met Police in London have an issue too. Lots of complaints of rape and sexual assault, even murder by the police. That is outrageous. Rape and sexual assault. I did see that thing a few months ago where that cop killed that lady. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, because you guys don't have guns. So I guess you guys have it's bullying, essentially. It's arrogance and bullying and sinister people who hide within law enforcement, right? So you're not going to get raped with an arrogant bully, but you do have sinister people who hide in these organizations that you need to get out. So all of that makes a cacophony of I'll keep your secret, you keep my secret. Wow, there's a culture. Yeah, that is amazing. Not shooting so much. There was an uproar when an off-duty cop fake arrested a woman, raped and killed her during lockdown. Yeah, I think that's the story I heard. Yeah, any position of power will attract those who want to abuse it. Yeah, it's true. I absolutely agree with you. That is outrageous. He fake arrested her, took her to some place, raped and murdered her. Do, why? And this is the thing about cops. Look, the cop is the only job you knock on the door, people let you in, right? They don't do that to the mailman generally. They don't do it to the sanitation worker. You have to be legitimate. The government has to know who is sending out working on their behalf. And in America, they I work with a guy who killed 7 people. I was like, I don't even want to fucking talk to you. And my whole thing is murder is forever. Somebody can go back, like the new DA could go back and look at that now and go and knock on his door, explain yourself, and arrest him. The feds can come down and go, you violated those 7 people. They don't care about it. And my whole thing is somebody's going to show up and care about it. Maybe not in this guy's lifetime. Maybe it'll be in 150 years. But my thing is, America is a shit show. But on paper, mwah. So once somebody comes through and start holding people accountable, all these people taking money from foreign governments in the Congress are looking at it. All these college athletes who go to colleges and come out with these big careers, right? They don't really go to class. That's conspiracy. It's a conspiracy between this college, the teachers, that student, right? So all these people are now work. It's not like I'm stealing one thing from college thing and selling it, right? College papers, right? It's and once people look into that is when it becomes exactly money talk, and you're gonna have somebody who has the will to go. This place is a shit show. Nothing works, and it's because everybody's corrupt. It's like here we had the Varsity Blue case where rich people were paying somebody to put their kids in all these fancy schools, right? Same thing as an athlete's going. I go here, and I'll play basketball there, and no one ever has a picture of them in class. No one ever has any friends that they met in college who weren't on the football team, right? No one knows because they're not going. So then, once you go, this is a federal investigation. I dare you, because here in America, lying to the feds is a 5-year bid. So you can lie to the cops, but when it comes to the feds, just be quiet. I'm not even going to talk to you, right? Because you say your name wrong, and some sinister lawyer will charge you with lying to the feds. So, I mean, it's it's crazy what passes for justice here, right? So once you can get a federal kind of panel going and go, all right, any of these industries, all right, big tobacco. By the way, big tobacco lied to Congress and nothing happened to them. They should have. I mean, they should have been prosecuted. But that's it. I could walk in as the worst baby killer slash cannibal and walk into Congress with a baby leg still gnawing on it, covered in blood. But if I know people, nothing happens to me, right? And if I'm connected, the person telling you that that guy is the bad guy, right? I'm the bad guy. He's telling you this. That guy would be arrested, right? Here in America, we had uh, Hunter Biden had a laptop with all this janky crap on it, right? Nude stuff and him doing smoking crack, him with prostitutes, right? Uh, Letters between him and his dad, the future president of the United States, and their weird money dealings with China and uh, uh, and the Ukraine. Left it at a pawn, not a pawn shop. Left it at a computer repair place. Left it there. Got all coked out. Completely forgot about it. It's got all this sensitive information on it. Could send him to jail for a long time. Information about his dad. What's gonna happen with it? Nothing. 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 Unless somebody else comes through, because that's the kind of shit I'm like, you're too close. You're too close. You're taking money from our adversaries, and you're the president of the fucking United States. Do you see why I'm completely go Joe Biden go fuck himself in everything I say when I mention his name? He's been a dirty shit for about 50 years. He's been sexist and racist, and he's one of those Me Too guys who didn't get caught up in the net. And now that he's president, who I really do think is not long for this world, I'm already. I was telling people in the chat primarily. William can verify this if he's still in the chat. I think something weird is going to happen this month. I think someone's going to die that's going to flip this whole thing up, whether it's Putin or Biden, and then Kamala Harris comes in and wants to be a tough woman president and launches World War III to show that she'll bomb a place, or if fucking Biden, not Biden, uh, Putin fucking died and someone else comes in, maybe he wants to change the thing, and that'll change the state. I don't know, good or bad, how, but I feel like someone's going to die. But then, this happened to me before. I thought somebody was gonna die. It bothered me for a month. I told my ex, who was like, and then our dog died. But I told her I've had this feeling before. I've had this feeling several times in my life, um, and it bothered me a lot. And I thought it was somebody's gonna be close to me. I told her I thought it was gonna be my parents. My parents are 85 and 87, and I was really wicked about it. We were breaking up. She was like, eh. Then our dog. Well, that wasn't our dog. It was my dog. Then my dog died. Like 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later. And she was like, huh, like that's a weird coincidence. I was like, yeah, my life is full of weird coincidences. Um, I wish I could just, yeah, yeah. But that's the thing, right? You will sit here and go, I feel like it's gonna rain, and then it'll rain. It doesn't make you psychic, right? I feel like it's gonna be sunny, but it just you. I really do think that we as people get these feelings, not so regularly that you can open up a shop and read people for money, but sometimes you get into a zone, and sometimes it's one time, sometimes it's the feeling of a period, like it might last a year or two. Just this, yeah, intuition, right? Um, and I find I want to say artsy people have it, but they're not really artsy. They're more eclectic and weird, and they do art to deal with that eclectic and weirdness, versus doing art to do art. Um, yeah, like a primal kind of. Some people are just better at kind of sussing shit out on all levels, and some of that level is this thing that we don't know, that we don't see. Um, Stories about how you used to have a person in the family, the phone would ring and they would know who was on the phone. And but then they grew out of it, which is weird, right? I mean, maybe the old wives' tales in my family, Southern black women. Um, but you tell these stories, and then they begin to evaporate by the time you're like 11 and 12. You're interested in boys or girls or whatever, right? But they seem to be really really strong the younger you are. And that's not all kids, but sometimes we've had a couple of those kids in my family. Uh, yeah, just weird, spooky stuff. You're freaking me out, but then you grow up and you don't. Maybe you're embarrassed about it or something. I don't know. But it's never like the movies where you could just have some sacred thing and go, "This was his big pen and he liked to draw with it. He's saying he really misses your ham sandwiches." Or whatever the case may be. Yes, yeah. Give me $100, I'll tell your future. And then once you start doing that, you're like, I need another $100. Oh, Gary from Beyond the Grave really loves you. He really thinks you need to show up next week Tuesday to, and then now you need to keep people showing up every week to pay the right. They call them revenue streams, where you can do this thing to just generate money, like Netflix. Netflix has a brilliant revenue stream. They get money from me every month, and then sometimes I don't even watch the damn show. The right, but it's mwah. Others of this stuff is bullshit. You're not gonna get my revenue stream. Yeah. You ready for it? Bend the spoon. Uh, it's funny. This spoon has gotten me a lot of conversation. I've had this right now. I use it for marijuana rituals, but it came with a salt shake. I like to cook. I've got all this. I like knickknacks with the thing I'm doing, so I have all this cooking stuff. And it came so you could just sort of dip it in the right. I mean, it's cute. I think it's adorable. But when people come over, and I'm surprised I haven't lost it in all these years, people come over, they think it's a Coke spoon, and I'm like, first of all, I don't know much about cocaine, but I've grabbed a couple of these off of people. This is too big to be a Coke spoon. How much Coke are you doing? Right? And Coke spoons are generally smaller and deeper, so you can get like a nose full and hit it in one thing. This is a fairly fucking big spoon, um, to be a Coke spoon. But it's too small for what they gave it to me for to sprinkle salt, right? And the best salt shakers are like salt. Nothing grows in salt, right? So you just dip your finger and you sprinkle it over. Who measures salt, for God's sakes? My grandmother taught it's a pinch. How much is a pinch, Grandma? Pinch is a pinch. All right. Okay. Like this is the wait, maybe a little more. Yeah, that's the right amount. How much is that, Grandma? That's the right amount. This much and then a little more of that much. Oh, okay. That's how you learn to cook. I know a couple of recipes. I cannot tell you what the ingredients measurements are. Um, Gunner's Ben Spoon. I remember Yuri Geller. Wasn't he found out to be a fraud? Cause he had I mean he was doing some weird thing, and the it looked like he could like the spoon was bending, and they said what he was doing was he was doing this, right, and then he would rub it like that, and as he looked at it he would sort of bend this like thing eventually like just kind of until he could eventually break it in front of you. But all the lead up to it, all this drama, ooh, ooh, got you like Yuri Gagarin is a genius. Uh, Come on, man. This is the thing. Everybody likes sleight of hand. Little kids love it. Like you pull out a nickel, right? You put ooh, but then you know these and some of these tricks are good. We've been watching some of them forever, right? The saw a lady in half, which is sexist, by the way. No one ever saws a man in half. Um, is it a holdover? Can you still have a pretty lady assistant? Because there aren't ever any guy assistants, right? And I would like to remind you, I'm a fan of ladies. There's nothing about ladies that I don't like. Uh, that's not true. I generally like ladies. Generally, there is little to nothing that I don't like. But there are some like you get ladies in a group. There's always one of them who's just really ridiculous, right? Just like you get guys in a group, there's always one who either wants to fucking fight everybody or just wants to chase. like this girl, like not we're leaving. No, I wanted to no, dude. Okay, then you can stay. We're right. You all go out together. You all leave together. If you get somebody's number, especially a lady, take his number. Or if you leave with him, I tell my lady friends, if you leave with him, make sure we know what his number and what his name is, just in case you fucking show up missing tomorrow. Um. So yeah, those are the new things, right? You look out for your lady friends, and you wish them well in their life's endeavors, because some of these people are not raising their sons, and you gotta watch your ass. All right, what time is it? From 6:30 to 9:30. Woo, a 2 hour stream. One of us needs to shut up and get off of this thing. That would be this one. All right, so first things first, if you travel around the world, don't commit any crimes in foreign countries, especially if you're Americans, because trust me, they like to do business with Americans. They're not really crazy about Americans. Uh, I would also tell you to watch yourself too if you're British, because you might as well be Americans the way we hang. People may not like you either. Uh, but you know what? A lot of it is jealousy. A lot of people wish they had societies like our society, for all its fucking ills. I said a couple of days ago on this podcast, Britain has been ahead of this thing sexually like for 1,000 years, right? Women could rule nowhere else in the world, really. Uh, think about that shit, right? 1,000 years ago, your boss was a lady. What did that do to the women in the kingdom, right? So, granted, they couldn't do a lot of stuff because, men are full of shit a lot of times when it comes to governance. But they could own their husbands. If the husband died, they could run that tavern, run that farm. They didn't have to get their husband's brother to fucking take it from them. And you know what I mean? So it's and even America fucked it up. America left Britain didn't go, women, you are as free as a bird. They were like, no. Oh, now we can fix our America and we can be free, but you bitches can't vote, right? You can't do any of this. So give people their props when they are prop worthy. But I look like I've got all this like weed particles. I look, man. I'm leaning into this weed shit. I grew up surrounded by Black Panthers in like the early '70s. They all smoked weed. I mean, I could tell you stories about my childhood and those people and how badly it went when the cops came through. Um, but I remember them as nice and fun, and like all the long haired white girls with their flower dresses and all the afroed out chicks with their panther medallions all over the neighborhood, walking around. This whole energy. Uh, Beatles songs were everywhere. They taught me "Here Comes the Sun" in preschool. Right? I thought it was a kid's song. Right? You learn this song, but it's on the radio. It's apparently a song you can teach kids. It's still my favorite song. I was singing this a couple of days ago. Uh, to learn to play music, this guy was like, "How hard is it to learn to play a song?" He was like, "It was hard. Once you learn 20 songs, it's easy," which makes sense, right? There are 7 notes. Uh, 5 minor notes, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A minor, no B minor, C minor, D minor, E and F. There's an F minor. There's a G minor. There's an A. Oh, wait, G. What? That's too many. I missed two. This is me being a bad musician. Anyway, uh, oh, good lord. Oh, my eye. Yeah, 7 letters. Seven, yeah, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. 5 minors. What are my minors? A, A minor, B, C, A minor, B, C, C minor, D, D minor, E, F, F minor, G, G minor. Back to A. 12. Okay, good. I'm not crazy. Um, yeah, I should get off this thing because I'm obviously losing my losing my my sauce here. We're gonna be back tomorrow. Remember, in conclusion, Ladies vote. Oh, good lord. Ladies vote and vote often. Uh, Call some of your girlfriends out on some of this behavior because I think if you don't, all women are going to suffer for this because they're all going to be put in the same box because no one ever goes, why would you treat somebody bad like that because you can? And I mean, that is just not the mode. Maybe the very idea of talking about it will change some of it. But if not, like I say, when this shit bounces back in this society, uh, because again, here's the sexist thing I was going to tell you about. Women are only as free. May sound fucked up, as the men of their society let them be. Women want to drive cars in Iraq, and if they do, it's their ass. They're not launching any. Right? It's not really the nature of women to fight. The nature of men to fight, and it's fucked up. So you should give your men in your society, if you're in the West, props because the majority of them, there are some sad bitches, don't get me wrong. The majority of them don't want to wait. Women can't drive, they can't vote. What? Why? What? That doesn't make any sense to me, right? I want to fight it out with you. Let's see what you got to say about it. It's very Western in that nature. And all the women of those countries who can't do this want to leave, right? They're not goofy. They see someone's got a better setup. How do I get that set up here where I am without killing off all the men? How would the women even do it? You know how you do it? You raise those men. As they're sitting on your lap and they're 2 and 3, you go, and they see something, you go, be nice to ladies. Oh, that's not right. And as they get older, their friends will be like, yeah, punch ladies in the head. Yeah, kick midgets down the stairs. Yeah. And he'll be like, yeah, I'm kind of for kicking midgets down the stairs, but I don't really want to punch ladies in the head. Or whatever the bar is, right? you make less intense men uh, a little empathy, maybe. So then that guy goes, man, I hate that girl. We dated. She was a mess. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, do you hear that they're gonna do X, Y, Z? Oh, that's fucked up, right? He's not gonna internalize her as the reason why da da da. He's gonna internalize the women that he likes in his family. I don't want my sisters not voting, not voting. I don't I don't want my sisters not to be able to not vote. I don't want you know what I'm talking about. I don't like this. How about that? Let's say that. I don't like that the ladies can't vote. Because this affects my sister. That's a better sentence. Because this affects my sister. I don't want my sister to not be able to vote. That's not what I said though. Anyway, so yeah, I think that there's in America there's this army of ladies doing gender warfare because I think they think it's here in America they talk about uh when they talk about cancer and raising money for it's only ever women's cancer or children's cancer, right? Because you get testicular cancer, fuck you. That's what you get. You deserve it, you piece of shit. You're like, wait, what? Are we curing cancers or aren't we? Are we only curing the lady cancers? Right? It's just this weird sense of when they talk about the kids, they talk about girl power, and I'm like, what about the boys? So you're gonna put all this energy into the girls, and what's gonna happen is you're gonna ignore these boys, and when they get 25, 30, you're gonna need more men who are cops, right? Because when girls go off the rails, I think people are concerned that they may be strippers or dancers or something. But when guys go off the rails, there's violence involved, general gunplay, right? God will fuck with your society. You make an army of unhappy people. And I'm not saying ignore the girls because they won't do. I think China had did this. What the fuck the girls? We got to concentrate on the boys. Dumbass China, right? Did that. But you don't leave one behind. Yeah, that is a big thing here. This idea that we gotta do it for the girls and women have been left behind and girls and win win win. You're like, look, guys, look, you're not gonna. It's like black people going. It's sort of like arguing that they should get their chance to be slavers to white people. It's that stupid, right? You undid it. You're not gonna redo it the opposite way. So now women can be what darker or meaner than men or more successful than the boys or whatever, right? Take care of all the children. You're not getting that. You're getting these gender war things. I don't know. Lord, 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 Lord. Uh, yeah, fix it. What is the temperature outside? Woo! All right. Wow, I've got 18. I've got 18 percent on my battery, and I've got a minute and a half. Well, I've got even 2 hours now. All right, so I guess that is it. We are officially ending the stream. Uh, what is manosphere culture? Unhappy young men committing mass shootings over there is a scary shit. Yeah, that's another thing. I keep saying it. Raise your sons. I told these mother women, raise your mothers, raise your daughters. Um, People don't make any sense. The idea that, and we're all in the here, we're all in the mix, right? The idea that I can run out and go, I'm going to get a pizza for my wife and kids. Don't have wife and kids, but wife and kids want pizza. I just run down to the. It's right there. It's right there. And for all you know, that's you just running in real quick is into the wrong shop. It's just so random. It's not always big box shops. It might be the 7-Eleven, right? It might be somebody you don't even know in your factory, right? He's walking through the factory floor. All this kind of wild, I'm a unhappy idiot, and it's random people's fault. Raise your kid. I mean, what coping mechanism does your kid have? That this end you give them guns. I'm unhappy, but I have guns. How about this? I hate to say it, but you know what can cure this? And I'm not a proponent of it. Sex. Yeah. You know how you get that? Prostitutes. Yeah. I hate to say it, but here's the problem with that. Nothing is free, excuse my language. And these guys have like 7-Eleven jobs, and so everybody is set upon, and you can't even buy your way out of the bullshit in a place that is an immoral haven, right? It's a mecca of is a mecca of immorality. We have a city where prostitution is legal, Vegas, gambling is legal, right? I mean, it's just you could find your distraction here, but you need money to do it. And I think the society is locking so many people out of all types of. I mean, I once had a woman tell me if it all got bad, she'd be a prostitute because at the end of the day, she knew she could sell that, right? Um, and I told her, "What do you got that everybody else don't got?" Not everybody, half of the people don't got, right? What makes you think that this is a viable option for you? People think I'll just do it. There's OnlyFans, and I'm sure people are like, well, I don't mind people seeing me have sex. I just go to OnlyFans and and I'm sure there's a ton of people at OnlyFans that nobody visits. I'm telling you, it's a mercurial thing. It really is. Sex appeal is weird. You'll have two pretty people next to each other, and somebody will go, that one's more attractive than that one. It's all subjective. All right, that's it for us. We're gonna leave. They won't pay for it because they believe they are entitled to it. I don't know about that. I don't know if people. I mean, what do you base that on? That's something you base that on your sexist beliefs of men. I don't believe in it for a number of reasons. I grew up in the AIDS epidemic. I'm really wiggy. I don't do one night stands. Never have, because again, I grew up in the AIDS epidemic, and it wigged me out about sex. I've had some interesting sex, just supposed to as a young New Yorker. But even then, good lord, even then, god dang it, oh really? None of this is working like I wanted to. Even then, dang it. Sorry. You ever do half something wrong and the whole thing turns out wrong? Uh, all right, there you go. All right, where was this? Oh, there you go. Let's put this. Oh, it's still spinning. Let's put this here. Put that here. God dang, I thought I did this. And wrap the show up. Right? So we're gonna wrap this thing up. Um, Here's the thing. Their philosophy, a lot of them that make the TV show, these sad boys, women should do whatever I want because women are subservient. Yeah, fuck those guys. Those right. First of all, what makes you think anybody wants your disgusting mug laying all over? The guy that I have in my head have like three teeth in their head. Don't shave, don't wash, hyper super out of shape, and think that they are owed something by women, owed something by people who they deem for whatever reason less than them, right? Owed. And as we all know, the only person who is owed is me. What's wrong with y'all women? No, seriously. The only person who's owed anything in this world I have yet to meet. Um, no one is owed shit. And I think these people, are raised to be these, that it's all going to work out for them. And when it doesn't, they're mean 18, 19, 20 year olds. And someone else must have gotten the way of taking their thing. No, I mean, you got to raise people, you know, with one foot in the actual world. You're not special. These women don't have to stop and listen to your stupid story because you think you're cool. You know, you have to get good at being good at telling stories, right? You have to have a gregarious family. Everyone in my family has a million. We're gonna end this thing in about 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes. Has a million stories, right? I come up by my what's the word for people who talk a lot? I forgot the name of it. I forgot the name of it. So people who use I talk a lot, but my family talk a lot, right? We got a ton of stories, ton of jokes. We're magnanimous. We're fairly, yeah, we're very, we're verbose. Um, we are, we're raconteurs with it, right? We can tell you a story. My dad has a ton of stories. And we like people. So that's one type of thing that runs in my family. Other people are just quiet and reserved, and they don't like to. Oh, I'm a homebody, and that I like to go out occasionally, maybe 3 or 4 times. That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, we get together. We are loud. People at the top. People tell jokes. You got to call the cops because a good time is a good time. Uh, Laughing like uproarious laughter. People that you enjoy. This is important, and I think a lot of those people don't have that. I used to tell people all these idiot racists running around here in the middle of the country, take them out of that place with those friends and stick them in New York, and introduce them to a girl, and their life will change. They're just sitting around, got nothing to look forward in their small podunk towns with the same people who have nothing to look forward to, and they all have to hate something. Every group of young boys need an opposition, right? And that's what it is. And this is why I don't talk about relationships. One, because I'm not in one and I'm bad at it, and I don't talk about women because I openly admit I have no idea what the fuck women want. Right? I honestly don't. So when I talk to women, they tell me what they want. I ask questions about what they want. I think a lot of people kind of think women want what I want, and what I want is whatever that thing, money and chilling. You can come and spend money and chill with me, right? But that's not really connection. Nobody connects anymore. Yeah, I'm fairly gregarious. Yeah, right. I mean, a story, an interesting story, well told is awesome, right? And those stories aren't just uh, they don't just move and keep, but there are jokes in it, right? There's wit, And the person who generally at this thing telling these stories are sort of holding court. There's a few people around them. Everybody's got a smile waiting for the next drop in the story. Those, I mean, that should be going on in the Ukraine right now. Instead, people are burying family members because one dude, Vlad the Impaler, is a hot mess. By the way, he's a public servant. That dude has $700 billion. Where do I get a public servant gig like that? The worst people run the world. The worst people always seem to run the world. All ass hats. All right, that is it for me. It is getting late. I'm sure it's late in lovely, lovely London, England. England, London, England. I'm saying London, but you're probably not in London. Where are you, lady, in the beautiful North Atlantic region? Scotland, North Atlantic. I didn't think you were from Scotland. Scotland, England. Uh, but I knew you were English because you helped us get clear on some of our politics. Um, totally remember that. When is your show? I think I popped in a couple times, but I don't see you regularly. I hope you get a regular show and fix that camera angle, girl. We had some of this going on. What was it? It was slightly off to the side, so it was this. And I was like, "Can you do that?" Uh, yeah, I have to change my whole cam setup pretty soon as well. Oh, all right. Well, that is it for me. I am gonna figure it out and get to the next one. I'm Scottish. Please don't ever call me English again. I feel you. I once went to Australia, and people were like, all these Americans were running around wearing Canadian patches, and I was like, someone was like, "Oh, you Canadian?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "Oh, it's like you're American." I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh, all right." I was like, "Wow, what's up?" And he was like, "Well, a lot of people. It's hard to tell the accents apart, but I've met a lot of Americans with Canadian patches on. So I don't know if you're Canadians or if you're Americans." And apparently, it was during the Gulf War. And I was like, "Oh, they want to travel the world and be backpackers, but they don't want to get shit for being American. So you're gonna tell people that you're gonna lie to the new people you meet. If you're afraid to be an American leaving the country, don't leave the country. It's why I don't go to Mexico. I think Mexico's a failed state, and people from California love to go to Mexico. And I'm like, why? You have the same sun and weather. Why you go to Mexico? People can't explain to me some shit. You know, I'm going because it's cheap. Brittany Griner, sitting in a Russian prison for greedy reasons, went there to make $1 million to play professional basketball because she only only makes 250,000 here in America. So she went to Russia to make $1 million on the off season for the 2 months or whatever, 3 months or whatever. But here's the problem: they were holding two Americans who they've been holding forever. Why would you go there? And now they're gonna hold you forever over something no bigger than, I don't even have anything as big as that capsule that they're holding her with. No bigger than, where's my where's my mechanical pen? Not a protractor. Okay, pen cap. This pen cap is about as big as like those dispensers, and it was empty. So there was a hint of a whisper of a hearing of a residue of weed in there at one point 1 million years ago, and you're about to do 10 years in a Russian prison for it. Is that $1 million worth it now? I don't understand people. People don't make any sense to me. And I do this pod just to make sure I'm not crazy. And when I end up being carted off, I hope that people can look at these tapes and go, "Yeah, he was a little crazy, but he meant well." Or he wasn't crazy at all. He was absolutely right. One of those two things are gonna happen. Cause man, I don't understand why people are doing shit that, it's like if the light turned red and people crossed at it. I don't understand that. Ah, it's a green light. Why aren't we crossing? No, no, no. We're gonna wait to the yellow, and then we're gonna run so we can hit when it turns red. Is that what we're doing in America now? It's just like I don't understand. It's like when rock stars used to play South Africa during apartheid when they should have Yeah, exactly, exactly. I ain't gonna play Sun City. Remember that song? All right, that is it for us. I want to thank all of you for coming through, especially Leggy Lady. You up in the chat. It's always nice to have you here. William. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's not really a show until you show up here, William. I missed you the last couple of days. Hey, Leggy Lady, tell us when we can see your show, or at least when I can show. Yeah, it was awesome chatting with you. I know it's late there in Scotland. How you like my Scottish accent? Oh, it's crap. It's from The Simpsons. All my accents are always done by TV people, so feel rightly outraged by it. All right, that is it for us. I wanted to know when Lady Lady was gonna have a show, but maybe we'll catch her. Um, I might still be building up. You're sporadic. I seldom go live, but my radio show is Thursday nights. Where at? So you do okay. So 365radio.co or .co or .com. 365radio.co. Leggy Lady, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Okay, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. UK time is, don't tell me, is, I'm going to say 4 4 p.m. American time. Where's my watch? Wait, it's 9 p.m. right now. Oh, it's 10. Uh, what time is it? I don't even know how to phrase that. So if it's 9 p.m. UK time, what's the time different? What time is it in Scotland right now? Answer that anytime now, Siri. What time is it in Scotland right now?
It's 10:03 p.m. in Scotland.
Okay, it's 10:03 p.m. Is that right? Cause it's 10:03 here. How is that right? That can't be right. How is that? What time is it in Scotland right now?
On it.
See,
It's 10:04 p.m. in Scotland.
it's 10:04 p.m. in Scotland. See, you are living in the future and you got to fix that. So what you need to do is get out of bed, leggy lady, put on your clothes, go back to work cuz you got apparently 5 hours going on. Look at that. It says that. It says it's in Scotland. That I mean, you know what I mean? Garbage in, garbage out. What time is it now?
It's 10:04 p.m.
So it's 10:04 p.m. now. What time is it in Scotland?
It's 10:04 p.m. in Scotland.
What time is it in Paris?
I'm sorry.
What time is it in Paris?
It's 3:05 a.m. in Paris, France.
Now the question is, what time is it in Paris? Are we gonna use this one? Yeah, let's do this. What time is it in Scotland?
It's 10:05 p.m. in Scotland.
Oh, are you fucking kidding me right now? Ah. See, when this happens, I think someone's in my system, right? Like the government is listening to me because I say mean things about Biden. So every now and then, I look for the time and it tells me something stupid. Oh my God! All right, that is it for us. It is not 10 p.m. in Scotland. The difference in Scotland has to be, I want to, I want to say you're in the same time as England or an hour behind. So that should be, I want to say 5 hours. But that is not telling me anything. Same as England. So five. It should be 5 hours. Yes, it's definitely not 10 p.m. Oh, it's 2:04. 10. 4 hours. All right, girl, you get some sleep. I'm gonna. I gotta write this down because what is this? 365 365. Where is it? Da, 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 da. Where is it? Oh, I missed some of these. I pulled my Scottish card. Everyone loves Scots. It's just yeah. Your accent is awesome. All right, I'm looking at you wrote it in the chat, and I'm trying to find what you wrote. 365.com, right? Where is it? 365radio.co. 365radio.co at and the catch up is mixcloud.com radiology. What is the catch up? What is catch up? Mix mixcloud.com slash radio leggy. Radio leggy. Let that R spell it right so you can read it. Radio Legggy. All right. Uh, I was looking. Where's your time? You wrote the time here. So the show is broadcast on Thursday nights, and then the show goes up on Mixcloud for those who missed it. Okay, right. So it's Thursdays. What time? You said 11 to. No, you said 10 to 11. Why can't I find it here? Europe is 1 hour ahead of me. 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Right. Okay, so 9 to 11 p.m. Thursday. My handwriting is horrible. Mixcloud at Radio Leggy. 9 to 11 p.m. 365 Radio. Thursdays. Okay. All right. My nose is beginning to dribble. I will see you later, which is likely tomorrow. I stream 6 days a week, about. And I always stream on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Although last week's Saturday I missed it. I think I missed 2 Saturdays. I'm sorry, 2 Sundays. I want to say this year. I normally don't miss many days. It is what it is. It happens. Exhaustion sets in. I'll be back tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Come get some. We're going to be talking about all of it. And I'll be back Saturday. So come get some Saturday. Uh, who knows? Maybe I'll twerk for you. No, I'm not going to be twerking for you. Stop it. Stop it, people. Uh, feel good. Get your mind right. Find love. Love's important. Be nice to people. First, if you worry about love and it's never work out, first start by being fucking nice to people. Even people you don't like, be nice to. Now, I'm not saying be anybody's sucker, be anybody's bitch, be anybody's, you know, be nice to people. In my cop days, I was as nice as you will let me be, versus showing up being an asshole. I was always nice, and I will let you ratchet it up. I felt I was doing a good job for myself, a good job for my agency, and I was making my parents proud, right? Do that because I'm telling you, man, the world is a mess, and it'll have you angry, and then it'll go, oh, you're angry. Take these pills, take these drinks, and just to assuage the problems it gave you, it'll try and give you a solution, which is worse. Just learn music. All right, that's it for me. We're out of here. It's 20. Oh man, whew. Can we be out of here at 2025? Yeah, that's a minute and 5 seconds. So let's give a wrap up to everybody. We did a fair amount of talking about the war and why it's going badly and what didn't make any sense. We did a fair amount of talking about love and the promise of it. Gave a fair amount of talking about how you're sort of in charge of your own emotional deal, and that may impact how you march through the world, right? And we also talked about time and how time is fleeting, except for in Scotland, which is still 10 o'clock. Uh, and it has to be because my iPod says so, and my phone says so, and I'm sure if I went over there and I may need this, and asked, oh my God, I got 40 seconds, and asked that computer, it would say so. So remember, life is beautiful. You are beautiful. I am definitely fucking beautiful. And life is fleeting. And try not to spend a lot of it being angry at the world or angry at somebody or hopeful and waiting on something to happen. Uh, yeah, we're a minute over. Uh, be hopeful, but don't be gullible and stupid. Uh, go through the world life with a smile, but sort of with your guard up just in case. You know, a little bit of both. Um, know when to drop one for the other. Uh, and get in it. Get at it. Life is good. There is love in the world. This pandemic has really kicked me in the crotch. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing something. Maybe it makes sense. Find your way, people. Don't be gullible like they want you to be. Um, like and subscribe and hopefully hang out because let's close this. I will be streaming more regularly to other sites, and I hope that you come through and like. Look at all the headroom. Hold on. There you go. Hold it. Oh, good lord. There you go. As high as we can get up there. All right, that's it for me. We're even late signing off. A minute and a half longer than we wanted it to be. We'll see you in the next one. Next one's tomorrow. We'll stop this, and I'll see you 6:30. Get some thank you, Leggy Lady. Thank you, William. Say a prayer for the tank commander. It didn't even just tell us what happened to the guy. Because you know they did him in. What is that? You ran over your boss because you're unhappy? That's just psycho crazy. No matter where you are. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not run over your boss, no matter how much they deserve it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of them really, really, really deserve it. Still, don't do it. And if you do it, get it on tape. Get them hits. Get them likes and subscribes. All right, that's it for me. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Stop that. Peace. I'm out.